We are live. Cool.
Okay. What up, bitches?
I am liking this whipped cream Burnett's with fucking cherry Pepsi.
Wait, hold up. Before we get started, I like Susan's energy. She said, "What's up, bitches?"
That is
because
that
I've been
is
because I've been like dealing with a lot of bitches today. So I appreciate that energy today.
It sucks that your friend didn't come down. I did want to meet your friend.
She got really drunk last night and she is like immobile right now. So
yeah, been there.
She's like completely fucked up, but that's fine. I'll see. I have somebody coming next week.
Oh yeah, look at that, man. Always damn women coming down. Jesus Christ.
Okay, first of all, they listen to the podcast.
Nice.
And they want to talk, like they want to hear themselves in at least one episode or more.
Yeah.
You know, because they
are interested, and you make it seem very interested. Yeah. You're all about like ideas and stuff too.
Well, I tell people all the time, like after we record, I listen to everything. Like this morning, I listened to the first 2.5 hours, but I'll finish later on tomorrow. Like even your cousin, first time down, he fucked the flow. He fit naturally. It wasn't like, because sometimes you worry about what if a new person, like how they gonna act and stuff, how they gonna speak, and he felt like he's been here before, and that's a cool thing. We got like, that's why I keep saying we try making this a friendly environment for everybody. Plus,
your cousin was really nice.
No, but he listened back to it. He had the flow of things, the fucking comedy, just everything was perfect.
Fit right in.
He's more than welcome to come back.
He has a lot of with somebody who has a lot on their mind and somebody who's been through a lot. It's easy to just get into the flow of things, especially having, certain things and stuff like that to talk about, because we talked about a bunch of different things.
Yeah, like he was talking to Sue about, like, because we were going through Sue's history at the Longhorn, but like he was just like, he started seeing like inspirational quotes, which were pretty deep. I mean, I listened to all of it, and I'm like, dude's got some good shit on his mind, so.
Yeah.
Well, after the 3 bottles of wine, like the last
hour that was hilarious.
I don't even remember half of it.
Oh, I did.
Like, told, like, no, Elliot, because I was like, did I say something like to like whatever? Because like I remember at one point I went upstairs. You like were saying something to your mom, and then like I was like, wait, what did I say?
Price exposure. Yeah.
And then both you and your mom are like coming at me. You're like, yeah, you did say that, and I'm like, what the fuck did I say? So I asked Elliot the next day. I'm like, what the fuck did I say last night?
Well, it's funny.
You didn't say it. The wine said it.
It was funny because Junior said like one point Sue started getting like really like what was it? You said interrupting and stuff and like an idiot, and I'm like, we all do, but it's like Salena, like I said, the first 2 hours are fantastic, and as I hear like you drinking more wine, your speech is getting.
It was that third bottle.
I get it.
It's getting worse by the second, and Sue's interrupting everybody and act like a total jackass. I'm like, I love it. It's fucking hilarious. Like,
but then when she stood up and showed off the Longhorn tattoos, I was like, this is starting to get a little spicy. We gonna have to relax. Started showing off the Longhorn tattoos. I was like, damn, all right.
It was pretty bad at the end after
you're right. Stopped,
I
was drunk by then.
By the time we like stopped and like we finished up and we like wrapped up and everything, and like I gave Junior a hug.
Yeah,
like
that's how you know you're drunk.
I love you so much.
I hugged him and I hugged Elliot, and I'm like,
the two worst people to hug.
But Elliot kind of deserved it because Elliot's the one who gave me the wine.
Yeah, I didn't deserve shit.
Well, I mean, I'm happy that you, unlike some people, lasted the entire time. It was one point like, hey, we're missing a female voice in here. Where did then? I was like, wait, I have to go in the bathroom. And I just hear like this low noise, like.
Whatever.
Yeah, like then like I remember at one point walking to your room and trying to wake her up.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm like, Salena, come play with us.
Wait, you came in too and tried waking me up? I do not even recall.
And all you were like was, I'm sleeping, leave it alone.
Junior, what's that one Pokemon that sleeps all the time? Cast Rest?
Yeah.
There's a couple of Pokemon that sleep all the time.
I love sleeping. Like, no matter like what I'm on, like.
There's a couple of Pokemon that like sleeping. Slowbro likes sleeping too.
Yeah, I love that. It's like I'll be at work and stuff too. It's like 12:15 p.m.
She's like a cat.
It's like,
I'll drink like a full coffee and then take a nap.
I get like 12:15 p.m. Hey, honey, good morning. I'm like, good morning. I've been fucking up since 5 a.m. And she sends me a text at 12 in the afternoon. Good morning. I'm like
the next day, like nice. He's messaging me saying, hey, can you guys get Salena up and get her home and stuff? And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking she's already awake because she fell asleep.
Yeah, he didn't tell me he was gonna.
And then,
it was spur of the moment.
And then like, your mom's like, well, is she awake? And I'm like, I don't know.
We gotta determine if she's still alive first. Like we didn't even make that determination.
After the night she had, like,
Oh yeah, I thought you meant that Chris had serial killer vibes.
Chris always has serial killer vibes. That's why he always sets me up all the time. I'm fully convinced he wants me to die. Like, I'm fully convinced at this point. Like, if I died because something he set me up from,
you guys are just trying to outlive each other out of spite.
Pretty much.
Here's the thing, though. Half the time, half the issues Junior and I have are because of Chris.
Yes.
Like, she's not wrong.
Actually, more like 70% of those issues, because he starts snickering every time.
Yeah, he loves poking fun and snickering at me. We're playing this game, this beat game off of his virtual reality headset. It's like my first time playing where I'm having a blast, and like every little mistake, it's all quiet. I make one miss. He like loves every little mistake I did. Like, I'm like, you're so
he loves misfortune. He loves other people's misfortune.
I said it last week. The first time I ever played it, I'm like sitting there and I'm like doing whatever, and I'm on easy, and I haven't played a video game since I was like 15,
and it's really fun,
and it's like it's interactive. So I'm sitting there, I'm playing it. I thought I did okay. It's on the easiest freaking mode. I'm like, I've never played this stupid thing before. Anyways,
yeah.
The next time I saw Christian looks at me. He's like, "Hey Susan, I heard you were playing the virtual reality game," and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I heard you suck at it."
My god!
I'm like, wow, here I thought I was doing okay considering I haven't played a video game in like 15 years.
Chris.
Hey, Susan, I got a question for you.
Oh boy, it's already starting. Damn.
I love Will and his questions.
Nothing to do with me.
Okay.
You know it's about to get weird when Will says, I have a question for you.
How is it going to get weird? I just have a question.
Because it's you.
I mean, it's not weired. I mean, I just have a legitimate question. I'm just trying to get some information. All right. So I've heard this a lot of the times on Facebook. You know, a lot of these women that I talk to on Facebook have a problem with their significant other playing video games.
Yeah.
So, would you date a guy that plays a lot of video games?
You know, I don't see it as a bad thing. I mean, there are worse things he could be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It depends, honestly, how much he plays video games. Like, if he's just playing video games, I mean, that would be just a little bothersome, because I would want somebody to at least challenge themselves a little more, unless that's his hobby. Like, there's some people who their hobby is their video games so much. I'm like, dude, why don't you try streaming? Like, why don't you try doing other like things that involve video games, since you do it that much?
Yeah.
And stuff. But other than that, I feel like you need more than one hobby if it's just video.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'd be more concerned with like if they're running around like doing like whatever, rather than staying at home and playing a freaking video game.
Yeah.
Oh, like clubbing? Oh yeah, I would rather have a gamer than a clubber. Don't get me wrong.
Because in the end,
I like how you just looked at me and you like pierced my heart and my soul when you said that.
Salena.
Really?
Like, it was just like, it was like my brains are against this damn wall.
Was it Salena or me who did that?
No, it was Salena, because it was like as she was sitting there saying, "Yeah, I'd much rather have a clubber than a gamer." Day, she's like shocked to look at me. You know, she is like, she'd rather have a gamer than a clubber. Right? Sorry, let me correct myself. And then she was just like stared right at me, like it was like laser beams through my brain. Like, Jesus Christ, like, all right.
Clubbed me with clubber.
Jesus Christ. Like, I am the complete opposite of Chris, which is...
Oh, really?
That's not a bad thing.
It's really funny. In the astrological chart,
you don't want to be me.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to need... All right.
An Aquarius and a Leo?
Aquarius and Leos are opposite in the astrological chart, too.
Okay, we're going to need to stop with astrology.
Oh, June. Yeah, the past few weeks talking to Salena, it's been very fun hearing about this astrology.
I'm going to need you to relax.
Dude, his natal chart was somewhat on point. It definitely kind of was insightful.
I am going to say one thing about astrology right now.
Here we go.
I am going to say this about astrology right now.
Say
I have said this 3 times throughout the podcast.
More than 3.
It's 3 times that I've been this detailed about it. Your personality is not dictated by your zodiac sign.
No, I completely agree with that. I don't really necessarily believe in horoscopes to an extent, or even sun signs to an extent. But I definitely like Vedic astrology. There is some insights when it comes to Vedic astrology. Because the thing is, you're not necessarily one sign. Like, yeah, you're an Aquarius, but you're also like could be other signs too, which is more Eastern astrology, which is not something that we're really taught. We're more really taught Western astrology. That's like a whole different field when it comes to that subject.
Yeah.
But I also think it's kind of naive to think something that is not like 1,000 times bigger than the planet and has way more gravitational pull than the Earth to have some sort of effect on us when they're more closer to the Earth than when they are farther away. Mm-hmm. Like the Mercury retrograde, for an example. Like when it's closer to the Earth, we have a little more technical outages than normal, and like, yeah, that can be explained in some way, but
that's environmental, not like your physical being affected by it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But also when it comes to your emotions being stored in your body and you're having all this weird electromagnetic pulls going on, or wherever the fuck Mercury retrograde, does when it gets really close to the Earth. It makes sense why, things from the past were to be brought up and stuff during that time, simply because we store emotions in our body. Like doing simple yoga moves can like cause anxiety. So that's just my theory when it comes to Mercury retrograde specifically.
Yeah.
But that's something that just coincides.
The only thing I do find funny but also coincidental is like I will read astrology charts by myself.
Yeah.
And a lot, like she said, I showed her my quote unquote natal chart. I did a read up on it, and I'm like, there is a lot of things that but my personality, this chart does say, in terms of like my shyness and stuff, or the way I treat people, my generosity, shit like that. So I mean, is it luck based? Who knows? I'm just saying it is kind of funny though.
There are a lot of coincidences when it comes
there is.
To
like I said, she read my chart after like a week of knowing me, and she was, Chris, just based on the week of knowing you, she goes, a lot of this shit. And I'm reading my own chart, and I'm like,
it definitely shows confidence issues. He has so many
like low self-esteem and shit. There's a lot of things I do is read on this chart because it goes by actually your birthday and the time. Because I'm just saying, it was funny reading it. Like, it's not wrong.
I mean, I definitely take it with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, I don't think you should allow anything to dictate like your life. At the end of the day, you should be hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm definitely not going to blame the fact that I'm a Pisces off of certain shit. But it is very insightful when it kind of like tries to explain like your psychological navigation.
Yeah. The only thing that like kind of not so much bugged me was Junior knows this. It's like she's a Pisces and say her ex, for example, is a Leo, and they're not compatible. But then Chris is a Leo, where we have our personalities based on what you've told me, she's told me, is we're nothing fucking alike.
No, but that depends on the natal chart. Like I looked up my natal chart before, and I'm a Pisces, but I'm supposed to get along with Cancers, and like I do to an extent. But there's some like there's some pattern in my natal chart that apparently rubs Cancers the wrong way, and it's so weird reflecting on all my past relationship with Cancer. Like, yeah, we were really close, but they never like really like. It was such a weird insight for them to just specifically say that. I'm like, oh my god, that's so true, because I do love Cancers, but they eventually like not liking me because they're just so too emotionally heavy for me.
That's what I have a problem with. It's the problem that I have is when people don't take accountability for their actions, specifically because of that. Like they'll say, well, they'll be like, well, I'm a Gemini, so you're just going to have to deal with my mood swings. I'm like, listen, bitch, I don't have to deal with shit. Yeah. I was like, first of all, if you can't handle your own mood swings, if you can't handle your emotions, then that's your immaturity, not because you're a Gemini. You know what I mean?
You're just like not an evolved person. It's not your sign.
That has nothing to do. But you see where my problem is, right? It's not, and that makes me not want to even read mine, because I haven't read my star chart at any point in time.
It's like, no, you can tell me you're an Aquarius, but like it's literally does nothing if I don't really know your whole natal chart, because I like am a Pisces, but I have so much Scorpio in my natal chart. I identify with a lot of Scorpio readings just because so much Scorpio was in my natal chart.
Yeah.
And also I don't have any fire in my natal chart too, which a lot of my, like, I tend to be attracted to fire signs. Mm-hmm. And I'm very communicative with my fire sign. Like my one brother, he's like my favorite brother. He's a Leo, and we're so communicative. I feel like since I lack that in my chart, it's just something that I'm attracted to. That's just easier for me to talk to because I don't have it. I'm like more attracted to it. Yeah. But it also gets really detailed. Also, it's just so detailed to the point where it's just like, why even bother?
Yeah.
Like, even if like astrology did have some like basis, it's just you. Like, regardless, you're still gonna have to like work on yourself and evolve yourself. Yeah. The most it could ever give you, just like anything, is just insight. You should always take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But I get too lazy getting into it, and I understand why it's so expensive. Why like some astrologers like charge so much money because it gets really detailed.
Yeah, but that's why. But that's why when I sit there and I say, and I'd be like, because there was like this one girl that I was talking to a couple of years back, and we didn't like know each other's birthdays at that time. But when I told her that I was an Aquarius, like it just immediately just like literally it was just like everything just went dead from that point on, and it happened to me twice. And after that, it was just like, and I questioned it the second time, and I literally asked her, I said, so what about me being an Aquarius is an issue? And she said, and I get into this argument on Facebook so many times, like I do, because there's this one girl that says the same thing. Like she says, like, well, you never read your chart, so it's not like you would know. I'm like, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna read a horoscope, or I'm not the type of person that's gonna read something and let that become my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what these people do. And that's the problem that I have with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have it's not like I have a problem with the actual astrology. I have a problem with the people who use it to not take accountability.
And you don't really know anything about it. So they're like an Eastern kind of science to an extent. And it's completely westernized and modernized. Like what? Like
I wouldn't call it modernized. I call it retardinized. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's just like they're just too fucking stupid to think for themselves. Yeah. So they need something or someone to think for them. Like when you look at celebrities, for example, you look at how, Kim Kardashian just comes off as one of the most beautiful women in the world, but she's 40% real. Mm-hmm. It's like 60% of her body is modified. And it's just like, and you look at her like
she is very beautiful.
But no, she's not. Oh. she's not. I'm sorry. I will never accept a modified body as being attractive. I am all about natural, and especially to that extent. To the extent where you look completely different from your past life, no. Like, if you're not naturally pretty, you're not pretty overall.
That's point, $100,000 worth of plastic surgery,
and it's just like, like Salena, you haven't had anything done to you. You know what I mean? To my knowledge, you have not had anything done to you.
I'm not against it though.
But if you did, I don't notice it. You know what I mean? Because you're just naturally beautiful. You know what I mean? Like that's you. Like Molly, when Molly was here, Molly had nothing done to her. You know what I mean? She's thick, she's tall, she's pretty. You know what I mean? Nothing, no sort of plastic surgery or nothing. And it's just like you women don't you may not be against it, but you don't fall in line with thinking like, well, she's not natural, but she's still beautiful. Like I don't buy into that.
Yeah, there's a spectrum to beauty.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of this meme where it's like that before and after pic of like Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you're not ugly, you're just poor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of true. If you gave me the same amount of money that the Kardashians have, I'll look like a Kardashian in 3 days. Just give me 3 days and I look.
Well, before you and Susan came down, me and Junior were talking about that. Like, this is what I talk about in the podcast when, like, you and Junior, everybody constantly talk about, well, Chris, you shame yourself and you have self-confidence. I'm like, well, the thing is, because, like, how you look at a Kardashian is like how I look at, like, a Chris Hemsworth or something, or guys at the fucking gym. Like, you can tell me all day, Chris, you're good looking, Chris, you're handsome. I was like, yeah. But then, like, I hop in a fucking magazine and I see, like, Captain America, and I'm like, well, I don't look like that.
See, but Chris, your problem is that you let media dictate your level of confidence.
Yeah, but women do the same thing though, because the point is
to some extent.
The thing is, but the Kim Kardashians, the Cardi B's, et cetera, the fact that Kim Kardashian is what millions of little girls aspire to be, and they don't understand the fact that, like, I'm smart enough to know that fact that, like, if I want to get into a superhero shape, I need a shitload of money and a personal trainer and a personal fucking diet. That's why I can't look like The Rock for it. The Rock looks like that. There's also a shitload of money goes into looking like The Rock.
Yeah, LeBron spends $2.5 million a year just on his body.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, but so it's like how guys to train to be the superhero type, that requires a shitload of fucking money,
hundreds of thousands of dollars,
money plus discipline.
Well, exactly, yeah, but also with females though, it's like I was actually telling Junior, I want to find this post, show you guys. J-Lo, I respect her for this. J-Lo put up a post like a week or two ago. She had her makeup on. She goes, hey guys, I want to show you what I'm like without my makeup. And she's still 52 years old, an attractive woman. But look at J-Lo, and she did this. She made her fucking post. She took all of her makeup off. She looks like a whole different fucking person without all that 45 minutes worth of fucking makeup. Not ugly by any means, but she's not the glamorous after that much fucking makeup. And this is why we get pissed off. Where it's like, Salena or you wake up, you guys just look like that, Kim Kardashian or anybody like her. I woke up and I'm just taking a selfie in my bed. Bitch, please. You got fucking a half hour worth of mascara and lipstick and glow and this and that too. Like, Joe Rogan's talked about this. There's been so many fucking pictures of Kim when she's not photoshopped and not fucking prepped with cellulite on her ass and her fucking ass looking a certain way and her fucking face and wrinkles and this and that too. Oh, she looks so fucking perfect. Yeah, honestly, Sue, I mean, said I could Photoshop you and Salena or me and Junior to look like anybody after fucking the right Photoshop and angles and lighting. Those pictures, these guys, people don't get professional photographers when you watch these videos. You see a model, they take thousands of fucking pictures to get that one perfect fucking shot. And that's what you see in all these goddamn beauty magazines. And that's the fucking trick of like, oh, Kim Kardashian's fucking beautiful. Yeah, no doubt. Salena, give fucking Salena 2 hours and a fucking right train and right mace. She could be damn near a Kardashian clone. After the right amount of fucking photoshopping and right photographer and makeup people. But the thing is, but this is you without $60,000 of fucking plastic surgery too. I said that's not a natural fucking woman by any fucking means. Like, and I've told you, I think definitely as a society we are getting more and more acceptance of like real women and real fucking guys, like the quote unquote dad bod. I told you have some stretch marks on the top of your fucking chest near your fucking breast.
Like all girls have stretch marks, even skinny girls, even big girls. I feel like that in general is normalized.
But show me a fucking picture of Kim Kardashian with stretch marks. You don't see them. After she had how many kids now? You're telling me a real woman after this?
She had a surrogate, I think, for her last one.
Yeah, but she still had like what two natural fucking kids. You show me any woman on this fucking planet who had a fucking baby or 2 babies with 0 fucking stretch marks. Bullshit. Just like fucking guys. Well, The Rock has this too. Any fucking dude out there who's been weightlifting, you see it. I have stretch marks on my fucking shoulders and my fucking chest stuff too. There's no fucking guy who has that fucking quote unquote that perfect fucking like look. There's no muscular guy who doesn't have stretch marks.
That in anybody.
Sure. But
unless they did maybe pay for it.
I do feel like more women though need to stop aspiring to fucking. Like I said, like everyone sees fuck Cardi B's fucking videos. Them tits are not fucking real by any means, and they look nasty as fuck. Honestly, like I mean. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like, you and Sue are way fucking hotter than a Cardi fucking B would be.
You prefer natural beauty, organic beauty than like whatever synthetic beauty, I guess. Yeah, makeup does 100%. Wonders. Surgery does wonders. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I do think, it is a specific aesthetic. And like, I think you can have surgery and it come out looking really good and attractive, and you can have surgery and it comes out looking botched and horrible.
I feel like most guys though don't want to fuck a real doll. I'm just saying, for me, I don't. If I want to fuck a real doll, I'll go buy a real doll. I mean, because they're a lot cheaper than a social media star. Real dolls, it's like, and they're basically like, it was years ago when Pam Anderson was huge back in the fucking 90s stuff too. It's like, at one point, or at least like Pam Anderson spent just on her tits alone was like fucking like $120,000 on different how many breast surgeries she fucking had. Like, and there when she walked around, it's so obvious how fucking thick her fucking tits were. It's like, I personally, for me, I don't find that attractive by any means. Like I prefer a woman who has like a natural like little bounce or sag. And as you get older, this is life, Women, as you get older, every woman out there, your boobs fucking sag. That's life. It's like guys, our balls fucking sag. As guys, our fucking muscles. Once you hit fucking 30, men every fucking year lose 1% of muscle mass unless they're constantly fucking training to keep that muscle mass. That's life and shit. There's no woman who's 50 fucking years old with fucking tits of an 18-year-old. That's bullshit.
Or I wouldn't be against surgery because I was heavier and I did have D's at one point. So when I lost all weight, I lost all the weight in my boobs. So my boobs do look kind of different than they did like years ago just because I lost weight. So I would personally get maybe a boob lift. It's not really a boob job, but it's just something to make my boobs look like how they were before.
Honestly, our cousin Ashley said the same thing years ago. She's like, I'm afraid of them like sagging. She's like, the older I get, because all the girls in our family are pretty much well endowed when it comes to our chest.
Yeah.
And she was saying, she's like, I want them not to be down here. I want them to be like up here. Mm-hmm. And like her mom made the same. And she's like, they do still put an implant in there, right? She's like, it's just underneath to keep them up.
Like, I mean, and as a guy, like, I've joked about this and every fucking dude does about it. And I get this, though, getting older, I understand Junior and all this. Obviously, my sister fucking Jen. Jen's got fucking a massive fucking chest.
Yeah, you are very well developed.
But Jen's, even compared to fuck Sue, Jen's even fucking bigger than Sue. Jen's always had a big fucking chest, Oh, yeah. And as a fucking young teenage boy, you want the girl with the biggest tits available because that's how young boys are. As you get older, you do understand the fact that there is a lot of health problems with that. Like, when Jen's got fucking G cup stuff too, Jen can't do push-ups like I can. She can't, like I can put my chest to the ground, do a push-up. Jen can.
Yeah,
Jen
can't do that.
Jen has a lot of back problems. Me and Junior will never fucking have. So I do get.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
they get in the way.
Well, no, and I've seen. There was this one MTV show years ago. I forgot what it was. It was
bruises appear out of nowhere. Like you don't know what the fuck's going on.
I'm not sure if you and Junior remember this, but remember there was one MTV show. I forgot what it was years ago. It was a reality show. I watched some episodes, but there was this one girl, black chick and stuff, and she was actually a dancer. And she's telling me she wanted to get breast reduction, and she had like double D fucking chest to the point where she was going through a lot of fucking pain.
They were natural.
And yeah.
Holy cow.
No, I mean, and to the point where she would go fucking bra shopping. She couldn't go to stores and buy bras because she had to get special because they were like, most Walmarts or Targets or stores don't fucking carry like whatever 34 triple G or some shit.
And when you're a girl, obviously you want to go to Victoria's Secret and you want to get like something nice.
And so she was telling her boyfriend, she was, I want to get my breasts reduced, and he goes, oh, I'm kind of against it. I like the size. She's like, you don't understand how much actual fucking pain this is causing. Having chest like out the fucking air. Like that, like sometimes they can actually weigh your fucking breasts and stuff. And this woman's breasts are like each breast is like fucking 40 fucking pounds. Like that's a lot of weight to put on your back, constantly draining out and shit. So she wanted getting the breast reduction, and she felt. She went from like a G cup to like a natural C cup and stuff, and she felt, and her whole life changed where she was 1,000 times happier and better. It's like it's a drain. Like, so.
Well, that's like too when you're a girl and you have to wear a bra like that, like it like leaves like an indentation.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to make sure it's like the right size that you're getting because you have to make sure like around it's not too freaking tight.
Yeah, I know. I hate tight bras
because then like that digs into like your freaking skin, and it's the same for like fat girls and skinny girls.
Yeah. It was a funny thing. Junior, like I said, Junior knows this. All fucking guys joke about fucking guys with fucking big dicks and shit. I listened to like years ago when Stern had Dustin Diamond on, Screech from Saved by the Bell, and Screech. But he did that fucking one porno stuff. But he actually was talking to Howard about having a dick that's too fucking big, and you're like, how the fuck's that too? Like,
there is definitely a such thing as
like,
that.
I mean, I do admit, like, Junior knows just like if I sit down and take a fucking shit, I take a freaking shit. When your fucking dick is like 13 fucking inches, I can't imagine like sitting down fucking and taking a shit. Like honestly,
time.
Or like say you go to a fucking urinal and stuff too. You go take a fucking piss. You gotta step way the fuck back. But he made a joke, but not the joke. He goes, and honestly, and you guys are girls, let's break this shit down. A lot of women can't handle a fucking dude with a 12-inch to 13-inch fucking dick. Like, they really can't. He goes, it's like, and I've talked to women who said that shit. Like, if my man had a 13-inch fucking dick, I can't take that. Like, and first of all, she's not deep throating that shit. It's like... Throating.
Throating?
But, whatever.
Throating.
God damn it.
Man, that's a new phrase. I gotta look this up. Is that something else they can do?
But yeah, it's like, and he was saying like it was even hard for him to find sexual fucking partners because how many fucking girls could take his call what is dude had a fucking over a foot long dick. It's like, he's like, it's like he was, and it's like guys, we laugh about because we always would say men want a bigger dick, but like it really would become a fucking burden to constantly have a foot fucking long. 12 inches is like most women's cervixes are 5 to 7 inches, they say.
That should be slapping against his knees every time.
I heard it was 4.
I mean, that's what they said the average is. It's like they said the average guy is 5 inches. That's what whatever national. But I heard the average cervix for women is 5 to 7 inches deep. Like whatever studies they do and shit. Maybe it said So.
I personally don't understand like women who are into that. I understand if they like if that's what they can take. That's their interest. That's their sexuality. That's what turns them on. That's what gets them off. By that,
big ass grin on Chris's face right now.
By all means,
I've got a lot of Pornhub.
Do you, honey? Do what makes you happy. But I personally couldn't sign myself up to be with a partner like that.
Well, like, I mean, it's like
I feel like that's just a lot to say, especially if they want to have sex every day. Like that's just ridiculous.
You see sitcoms, and you see people fucking talk, or I listen to podcasts, or like Howard, has porn star interviews, and I know porn stars aren't the average woman. I'm just saying, but like when you hear women talk about, and even like I told people with Sue, but it's at Goodwill, one point Goodwill and stuff, besides me and like Jim, there's like only 2 guys that work there. Like I've worked jobs where I'm like, I'm one of 2 guys and like 13, 15 fucking female coworkers. And like guys have locker room talk. Females have girl locker room fucking talk. And you hear women like, oh, if my man isn't like at least 7 inches or at least 9 inches or just like arbitrary numbers, whatever number it is and stuff. If I don't date a guy who's at least 6 inches and I'm like, well, I'm fucked.
Yeah, I have friends who complain about size, but that's just their type, their interest. I mean, but there's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of schlong.
Understandable, but I always felt like at least Junior. Like I know some guys won't date a chick unless she has a fucking double D chest, and like them guys are shallow as fuck. But like I kept saying, like, with the spectrum, women are just as shallow as men. They really are, because, you know.
People in general.
I mean, so I've never, at least for me, I never did
that. It's preference. Like, every person has a preference in this world. Like, you know, some guys only date white girls. Some guys only date black girls. Some guys only date, like, Hispanic girls. Some guys date really skinny girls. Some guys date really fat, inconvenient women.
No.
It's true.
Some guys are chubby chasers. Hey.
Oh, we all grew up the fucking
My dad was a chubby
the
chaser.
skinny ass fucking black guy with the fat white woman.
No,
okay. First of all, I don't like the way Sue looked at me though. I don't like the way Sue looked at me with that, because she knew that would rile me up. She knew that would rile me up. Okay, she knew. I'm not gonna say anything about that. All right, I'm literally gonna sit here and just let the explanation go. All right, I'm gonna kick back on this one because.
But that's the thing is, like, I like threw the jab in, but at the same point, there are guys they like thicker women. There are guys who like skinnier women.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
guys who like short.
You did say convenient though.
It's fucking inconvenient.
Wait, you said inconvenient?
I know.
Oh damn.
Fat and inconvenient. Yeah. See, now here's
either way, it's bad. Inconvenient, convenient. I don't honestly know which way is worse.
At some point, you're just going, Salena, I got a question.
All right, Salena. All right, I do have a question for you, but first I have a statement. Okay, I don't know if you've listened to a lot of these podcasts, but I have a severe hatred for inconvenient fat people. Okay. Now, you might ask yourself, what is an inconvenient fat person? I will answer the question.
His dad.
Before he is the top.
He's an example.
He is the top inconvenient fat fuck. Okay. I meet mostly inconvenient fat people at my job. All right, that's where the majority of my hatred lies.
Every job he's ever had.
Every job I've ever had, there's always one inconvenient fat fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Or when he goes to McDonald's.
Or when I go to McDonald's.
That guy wants double everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That double everything story. Jesus H, man.
Take the double cheeseburger and just everything on that, double it.
Yeah. I'm going to say the story because, Salena, you haven't heard the story. So, and to people who are new to listening to the podcast, you get a nice little detailed story to this. So,
in other words, welcome to Junior's hatred of fat people.
Yes, fat inconvenient people, not just fat people. Okay, like we need to get that straight.
That is true. You like Alan Elliott?
Yeah, I mean, fat people don't piss me off. It's inconvenient fat people that piss me off. So here it goes. So
Alan Elliott are the convenient ones.
Yes, they're convenient. But anyway, I walk into McDonald's and I'm with one of my cousins and we're literally just sitting there and we're just thinking to ourselves like, you know what? Gonna get a couple of McChickens, gonna get a large fry, I'm gonna get some juice and we're gonna be good, right? That's all. We already have what we want in mind. We go into McDonald's, right? As soon as I go into McDonald's, I see this ridiculously large piece of shit right in front of me. Oh my God. All right.
Can't even see the menu.
No, I can't even see the fucking register and like the person in front of them. And I can't fucking see the ice cream machine to see whether it's broken or not. Like I can't see shit.
That shit's always broken.
Like
it is actually, Kaya told us when she was working at McDonald's, they just say it's broken.
Yeah, of course they do.
They lie and say it's broken because they don't want to make a freaking ice cream sundae or anything. Like McFlurry, nothing.
Lazy fucks.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, we already knew that. That was already there. It was a theory at first, but I kind of already knew that.
Because she was saying that she's like, yeah, when I'm there and if someone wants one, I just tell them it's broken so I don't have to make it. And we're like, good job, Kai.
On a side note, June, this is why I say with generations and stuff. When I was 17, I worked at fucking Arby's. I was happy, like, you know, when Friday came, my check was $120. I thought I was a fucking millionaire because coming from a kid who like would walk 20 miles with fucking 3 bags of bottles to get fucking $4 for the week and shit. You know, it's like the fact that I got my first paycheck ever was
20 miles both way through a snowstorm.
Yeah. Well, on a fucking Res Junior though, we had a Hannaford in Messina, New York, which was what time we drove there, but it was 10 miles to get to fucking Messina. So what we did was we had different bike parts all around the fucking res. I spent the day walking around, going in ditches, part of riverbeds. Me and Dad had I had 20 fucking recycled dead bikes, and me and Dad assembled a Frankenstein's monster of a fucking bike and shit. And it was like I had 1 speed because I couldn't go with like 2, 3, 4 speeds. And I would spend all day fucking on a weekend just gathering bottles and cans to get 2 big ass fucking like, garbage or 3 garbage bags. Then I would take an old golf cart and shit, old bootleg golf cart I found, tie the fucking bags to the golf cart, wrap rope around this, and said, Dad, I'm going to Hannaford. I'm like fucking 12 years old doing this shit. And back then, and I would leave the house and stuff, making it day's event. I would ride my bike 10 miles to Messina just to go to the fucking Hannaford to bring back 3 bags of fucking bottles and get like $5 fucking. Yeah. And then drive back on my bike 10 fucking miles back just to get $5 fucking. So when people today, like when I see my first Burger King paycheck, it was $89. I thought I was a fucking millionaire. So like, and I worked my ass off for that 89 fucking dollars. So I see these kids nowadays, I don't want to make a McFlurry. Go fuck yourself, okay? Like,
yep, another example about how Chris busted his ass way more than other people.
Well, Junior didn't know, like my friend Mark, we bust fucking Mark's balls, but in Sue remembers the Altamont Fair, and we all had fucking fair jobs. I said, looking back, the Altamont Fair was open from Sunday till Saturday, a full fucking week. Me and Mark would work the fucking bingo hall. We had to stand up doing the fucking bingos from like 10 a.m. until midnight.
Oh, the I Got It game?
Yeah, exactly. So we would fucking work these 15 fucking hour days, then catch an hour bus, because buses were free back then. It was an hour and a half bus ride to Altamont Fairgrounds, hop on the fucking bus and catch an hour and a half bus ride back. And then just get back up at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning, do this shit for a week straight. We worked like fucking 96 hours that week. The guy gave us like $150. We're like, looking back, I'm like, you child laboring bastard.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus. And we were standing on our fucking feet the entire fucking time. And like, you get a 5-minute water break, you'd grab anything that was wet and just guzzle that shit. You weren't
because it was hot.
In mid-August, in Altamont fucking Fair, you goddamn right it was, but there was no fucking lunch breaks, no food. We couldn't afford food. No. All me and Mark had was a fucking, like I said.
You couldn't afford to be an inconvenient fat person.
Exactly. And then me and Mark, when me and Mark got that $150 fucking, we're just like, a week of my life for $150 fucking bucks and stuff. And like, they realized, wait, I just worked like 7 fucking 16-hour days for this shit. Like, and so, yeah.
I really, Salena, you're going to say inconvenient fat people for as long as we continue to keep talking, because you know that I hate inconvenient fat people. And
have you ever realized that you were the inconvenient fat person?
Oh,
shit.
I'm not saying now. I'm just saying, like, have you ever like had that moment? Like, shit.
Yep.
I'm the inconvenient fat person. I'm just saying, because when you say that, I identify with being the inconvenient fat person sometimes. Like when we just get done smoking and everybody want to get up to eat, but I'm too like, nah.
Well, no. See, in that aspect,
she's half of everybody in this fucking room too.
No. So here's the thing, right? Yeah. I only consider myself inconvenient when I don't answer my phone, or when I take forever to text back.
Oh, damn, I'm very inconvenient.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I know.
I am horribly inconvenient.
Now I'm gonna cry.
I am horribly inconvenient.
I use her tears as lube. Right?
Yeah, Jesus. He does. He just pokes it right in my socket.
Damn.
I'm just kidding.
Plug in the socket. How many prongs? Anyway, that
escalated way different than I thought it would.
So
shit went dark.
So to continue my story, as Chris got so emphatic about working hard, but
yeah, because he's a harder worker than everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, I was pissing.
So
orange.
When I walked in there, right? When I walked into the place, and he was in front of the register taking so fucking long to figure out what he wanted. When he finally ordered, after like 5 minutes of standing in front of him, and I started to get like honestly really pissed off. He sat there and said, "I want a double cheeseburger with double everything." Now, you got to understand where I come from with this. Like, I literally looked at him with like the most abominable hatred that I could ever look at anybody. Like, worse than I look at my dad half the time. Like, I looked at him with such hatred, I wish he died right in front of me. Like, I wish he had a stroke, and I would not call the cops. I would step over him, order my food, and then I would get my food before I called the cops. And then they would probably question me about why I left them to die, and I would have said so.
It's because he ordered a double with double everything, sir. It already has double everything on it.
It didn't stop there. When he sat there, he put his hand in front of the cashier just like this. Like he's standing up straight, and it's just like this. Like he's halting cars, like he's a fucking crossing guard. And he like he was doing like a washing the window method here. He was like, whatever's on the cheeseburger, double it. I said, get the fuck out. We're done here. I literally got so pissed off. I was just like, are you fucking serious right now? So you think he doesn't know what the fuck double everything means? Of course we know what double everything means. It's double the patties, double the fucking buns, double the pickles, double the ketchup. You're just a fat fuck. And I hate you. Like, literally. Like,
you the reason why we all out of pickles.
Exactly. Like, it was just like, it just pissed me the fuck off. But that was just one of the reasons why I hate inconvenient fat people, is for that reason. Because I don't do shit like that. Like, they just do the most obnoxious shit ever. Like, when I say fucking excuse me 6 times to get through him in a fucking aisle in a store, that shit pisses me the fuck off. It's like, dude, you have your own fucking orbit. I feel like gravity keeps pulling me back to tell me to say excuse me, fat fuck. Just stand to the side or something. Like, Jesus Christ, you're too fucking big. Like, goddamn. Like, inconvenient fat people just piss me the fuck off. They really do.
Yeah, that burger is very inconvenient for
it was
that
a
fat
very
person.
Yes, very. It was just annoying as fuck.
Double everything.
But going back to what we were saying, what we were talking about before, about the whole self-esteem thing. I said this before, but I think everybody was kind of drunk and didn't really, process this before. Chris, you said something that really that I wanted to speak on for a while.
Okay.
One of the things is just the fact that I said this before. Men and women have self-esteem issues within relationships for very different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Most men's self-esteem and confidence issues come from their own judgment of themselves based on their sexual performances.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the majority and the feeling that they're inadequate because of either past experiences or because they don't have a lot to offer at first.
Yeah.
Right? Because what is the number one thing that a woman says, especially on social media? What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's not the first thing that men are thinking about. When we approach a woman, we're not thinking, the very first thing that we're thinking about when we approach a woman is like, damn, she's attractive to me. I just want to hang out with her. That's a lot of men's mentality.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of men's mentality on the flip side of that only wants to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But they act like the guy that just wants to hang out. So what ends up happening is the guys who end up wanting to hang out gets generalized with the guys that just want to fuck. So now it's the entire male gender that only wants to fuck and not hang out.
Yeah, it's you come across a lot of people, though, for me personally, especially after I got out of my 8-year relationship. And, I was talking to people. I was hanging out with, my ex, my first boyfriend, because I was lonely and I trusted him. Like, he would hit on me and stuff when he would come over. And then I had, like, another guy come over. I just went to school with him. Yeah. And, like, everything was fine. We were, we had a good conversation. We smoked. And then we were just watching movies and laying together. And, like, he ended up, like, just dry humping me.
Yeah.
And while we were watching the movie. And it was just totally uncalled for. It made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? That's it. I'm not inviting any guys over anymore. I'm not going to guys anymore. Because even though they may not start off like that and they're trying not to be like that, if you give them the opportunity, like, they'll just jump on it. And that's just one thing that I don't appreciate, especially when you're in the beginning phases. Like, even if I feel like there is sexual chemistry, it should definitely, like, there should be more communication involved. Yeah. And it was just so disrespectful. So now I have this, like, thing where if I do want to go on a date, although I haven't been dating lately, but I'll start off as a coffee date. You know what I mean? Because a part of me, don't want to be wine and dined by a stranger.
Yep.
And stuff. And I feel
because
like
of the expectations. Because suddenly you feel like now you have an that he's going to feel like that you're expected to put out because he wined and dined you.
More than that, I also don't want to feel like he's trying to, that I don't want him to try to get into my pants because of that. But also, two, I don't want to feel like he's being somebody he's not. Like, if he's not the type of person to wine and dine somebody, he's just doing it to show off to me, to try to get into my pants. I just find that insincere. I feel like if we start off as a coffee date and we do get more romantically involved, you taking me out to dinner would be a lot more sincere than if it was like a first time kind of thing, because it just, you don't know what the other person is thinking. Like, are you trying to take me out because you want to fuck me, or are you genuinely want to date? Maybe if I got to know you first at coffee, I'd have a better impression if I want to be a friend or or romantically involved with you.
So I have a question for you. You ready for this? So now I have another question that's funny, but this one's serious. So what do you think about the women nowadays that generalize men who only want to hang out? Like, here's a perfect example. There was this girl that I messaged like 4 or 5 times, like over the past like year, right? To simply hang out with her. Never wanted to hook up with her. She was never my type. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's pretty. And she knows she's pretty. She's hooked up with a few guys, you know what I'm saying, through social media, who are pretty much the same way that I approached her, almost the same way that I did, you know, that wanted to hang out with her, take her somewhere, and things like that. But they ended up wanting to hook up with her, and she just goes along with it. But then when somebody like me comes along that has no desire to do that at all whatsoever, she decides to say, well, you're just trying to hook up with me, so that's not the case. And even if I say, no, I'm not trying to hook up with you, she doesn't believe me because her past experiences told her otherwise. So is that a level of maturity, or is just the fact that she can't see outside the pattern?
Yeah, I just think it's definitely like a level of distrust, especially if she's used to hanging out with like the same type of guy.
Yeah.
But also, like, I definitely don't want to categorize all men.
Yeah.
I definitely think, you know, a lot of men have similarities.
Yeah.
But also you have to compartmentalize things. Like, you know, just because a guy, you know, is a womanizer doesn't make him like, you know, like a malicious person.
Yeah.
It just makes him untrustworthy and stuff. But also I feel like, you know, you treat people how you want to be treated to an extent. I feel like if I wanted to be romantically involved with a person, I would just be open and upfront about it. And that was something that I actually learned on the internet is like girls aren't usually upfront and open, and that's kind of what guys need. Guys are more want to be more upfront and open. They're more open about talking about their problems. Girls are just a little more private and personable. They'd rather like deal with their problems and their insecurities in secret. Like, you guys are very open. You guys are like, oh, like, you know, calling yourself fat, and you guys are a little more self-deprecating. Like, I would never do that to myself. I mean, don't get me wrong, I relate to that, but I just wouldn't really be so open about my problems. And I feel like when girls, like, try to flirt, or when girls do show their interest, they do it in very, like, sneaky kind of ways. Like, oh, I'm going to look nice, and I'm going to look pretty, and I'm going to, you know, wear something or do something or flip my hair or say something and do something very like sneaky in order to show a sign that would just completely go over a guy's head.
Yeah, because we're oblivious.
And then when, you know, the girl could just be like, oh, I like you. And then the guy could be like...
But it makes him like interested though.
Yeah, it depends. Like if a guy can read that, then that's great. Like if a guy knows how to read a woman, like, oh, she's doing this because she's showing interest to me. But sometimes it just goes over a guy's head. Like, I had no idea because you never said anything.
Well, see, that's the thing about most men, though, because it's like, with me personally, you have to tell me. I don't care how you dress. Like, if you look nice, I'm going to tell you look nice. Yeah. But that's not gonna click in my head that you like me. Maybe you care about your appearance when you come out. Like, if you go to certain places, like if we go to a public place and you make yourself look extra nice, I'm going to say, wow, she really takes care of herself. Her hygiene is on point. And those are things that I'm going to like about her, but that's not going to necessarily make me like her. Men are much more susceptible. It's a lot harder to get emotions out of a man, but once you get those emotions out of a man, they're a lot stronger, right, than a woman's. Like, because a woman will release her emotions and they'll be steady emotions. A man will hold his emotions back, not release them at first, but then once he releases them, it's literally amplified, as opposed to a woman's emotions. Like, here's a woman's emotions right here. A man's emotions is here at first, but then once he talks about his issues, once he opens up, once he actually lets you in a sense, which is a lot harder for a man to do than it is for a woman, for multiple reasons. One, we're conditioned in current society that if we talk about our problems, that it's a female trait. And when we do that, right, we get called, oh, you're a bitch, you're a soft nigga,
not a real man.
You're this, you're not a real man. Like,
I've had women call me not a real man.
Yeah.
Women.
But seriously, like,
I just totally don't relate to that. Like, yeah, I definitely see it. Yeah. I definitely know it's there. I definitely know it exists, but I just don't placate that whatsoever. I definitely think it's just a lack mentality and just an egoic way of thinking. I feel like if you're scared of showing your emotions, you're more of a pussy. Like, you're more childish than somebody who can show their emotions, because it's about being mature and it's about being like an emotionally intelligent person. And like, people who are like that have so many problems, and they have anger problems. They're so easy to agitate. Like, I don't know. I don't come across a lot of people like that. Like, don't worry, I know they're there and I'm around them to an extent, but I don't know. I just don't deal with them, I guess, like that, to the point where I'm just baffled that people would even care. I do not care if what people like that think.
Yeah, but
I literally can't.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's just that, but it's an overall thing. I'm not saying that there are exceptions. There are always exceptions.
It's definitely different if it's in your work life. Yeah. That must not feel good and stuff. But even if it's like even if it's in every aspect of your life, like, there's a lot of people, a lot of men, especially in inner city areas, that grow up with the mindset saying, I need to hold this in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Their family's telling them, hold it in. Oh, you want to cry? I'm going to give you something to cry about. Mm-hmm. Keep crying. Stop being a bitch. Stop crying. Why are you upset for? You know what I'm saying? Why are you not smiling? Why are you not out there for? You know what I'm saying? Why are you showing emotion? Why are you doing this? Men are conditioned to, especially in, these last couple of generations, to not show your emotions. Yeah. You're an exception. Okay. Susan.
She is.
Susan, an exception. You know what I mean? There are women. You got to understand, there is 186 million women in America. There are exceptions to this. You know what I'm saying? There's a total of, like, out of the 7 billion people in this world, there's like 3.9 billion women to 3.1 billion men, right?
Oh, wow.
So you got to understand, like, not everybody's going to feel the same way, but it's an overall generalized statement of what's going on in this current generation.
Egoically, it's easy to play that.
Exactly.
It's easy to play that card.
Look at social media. Look at music videos. Look at all of these things. What do they portray? Hide your emotions. Do dumb shit. Yeah. And when you let your emotions fly, go extreme.
And even not just that, you figured, like, whether it's like superheroes, action films, like, like most little boys, no matter what generation, you grew up with the Arnolds, the Rambos, nowadays John Wick and stuff. Now you Captain America, Iron Man and stuff too. But like, none of these guys, none of the tough guys, the diehards, no tough guy was crying.
Yeah.
Because crying is considered weakness. Yeah. And showing your emotions, you're supposed to be.
I love crying.
Like Junior said, you may be the exception, but just we're saying overall and stuff too. It's like women overall feel they tell guys like they want a man's man, a real man and stuff, and they want like men that are just basically
I think stuff like that is fake. I feel like I want like realness. I want authenticity. It's
how little boys are raised.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that to an extent. It's just hard for me, I guess, to come from like a psychological point of view, because I get that too. Like, as a woman, what I dealt with was being like slut shamed at 8 years old. You wear a skirt and you wear a dress, doesn't matter how old you are. It's like somebody's gonna sexualize it for no reason, and that made me feel so embarrassed and so ashamed of myself at a young age. And I had no idea, wasn't even developed yet, and it made me such a huge tomboy.
On a side note, no, that's okay. Just on previous podcasts, we actually did an entire episode based on like the double standard. We said this is like, if a woman, like, and Jen was here, I said, Jen, if Jen told me she fucked 100 guys, and I'm guilty of it, and I admit this, if Susan said she fucked 10 guys this past week, I'm going to look at her like, you fucking whore. You know what I mean? If Junior says, Chris, this week I fucked 30 women, give me a high fucking 5, bro. You're the man. Like,
well, there's a difference between a double standard to there's a double standard to a woman, from a woman to a man. There's a difference between that double standard
of like imperializing women.
Even as a dad, we mentioned even on the podcast, like we said, the double standard with the whole statutory rape thing. I have a 13-year-old fucking kid, and Junior's been there at 10, 11, 12 years old. Young Chris, I wanted to fuck every teacher that was. If I was, part of me's not gonna lie, my 13-year-old's like, Dad, I slept with my teacher. I'm like, I'm so jealous of you, buddy. But then if my 13-year-old daughter fucked her male teacher, I'm gonna slit his throat. Mm-hmm.
But there's a difference between the double standard from a woman to a man as opposed to a societal standard. There's a difference, all right?
Well, women were used as like property back in the day. They needed to have only one lover. If they were to have more than one, then their literal property.
But that was a societal
heirs.
standard, not a double standard.
It's a societal
and that's different.
Even
There's definitely there used to be in some cultures, polyandry, which is instead of polyamory, the male with one woman. Polyandry, I think, is the term where women more than one man. That really only existed when there was too many women in a society where there's more women versus men.
So that's exactly what I'm saying, though. It's a societal standard. Like, we look at how in society today, if I sit there and I release my emotions, you know what I mean? That an overall census of women will say he's soft. You know what I mean? That the societal standard is I'm mentally tough. I'm mentally tough. I'm physically tough. It's all about being tough for a man, you know what I mean? As opposed to a woman, it's being sexy. And, it's being sexy, having the fattest ass, having the biggest tits, and just being sexy, you know what I mean? And the societal standard and to me, and we all have our own personal standards of what we find beautiful. We have our own personal standards of what we find attractive. We have our own personal standards of who we find sexy. Like, the guy who plays Dean Winchester is fucking Susan's I love
Jensen Ackles. That's my birthday buddy. He's actually someone I'm not ashamed to share.
I've seen girls online who find him not attractive.
Yeah.
It's
so
true.
No, it's true.
And honestly, I feel less threatened by those women.
Yeah.
Because
well, even like Jared, Jared who plays Sam, you told me you've told me that obviously you think Jensen's more handsome than Jensen or Jared. Well, there's a lot of women who think Jared's a better looking guy.
I used to like Jared at first.
Well, in all honesty, all of them.
Because his character was more emotional, and that's why.
I'm talking about their physical appearance, though.
But, here's the thing. All of them are, from frickin' Jeffrey Dean Morgan to...
they're all good-looking guys, obviously,
down to Jared, they all are really good-looking guys. Me, myself, personally, I like more... I love... How do I put it?
Rugged.
The more ruggedly handsome
obviously,
guy.
no, I would say this, that Jensen has more of a manly man look. He does. Jared has more of a softer, fucking, more boyishly, I said, I feel like
Jensen's more masculine.
Yeah.
Honestly, yes. Yeah, he is. And,
for me, that's where my attraction for him comes in. Jax from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, he's what you would call a man's man. So he is. It's
he's pretty, but at the same point in time, it's what attracts me to... And I'm not even saying Charlie Hunnam as it is, but even the characters he plays, when he was playing King Arthur, when he was playing King Arthur, when he's playing freaking Jax Teller, when he's playing certain characters, he's very rugged, he's very attractive. To me, he could kick the shit out of someone, and I think that's fucking hot.
But, that comes down deeper, though. I do admit, I'm actually I'm going to pull up a news article in a couple minutes where a lot of women, though, they kind of miss the man's man, though, because they feel
that's why I like professional wrestling. Think about that. You're watching two guys kick the shit out of each other. For me personally, I fucking adore Randy Orton. Granted, Randy Orton isn't the most popular guy sometimes, but he's attractive. I watched. This was when I was 13. This match happened. Him versus Mick Foley in the hardcore match, where Foley threw him off the fucking stage, busted him open, he had thumbtacks in his back, he was getting the shit kicked out of him with a barbed wire baseball bat.
Yeah.
It's a part of me's cringing, but at the same point in time, I'm wow, he's taking all this freaking shit, that to me is a fucking man. He's hubba, hubba.
On the side note, it's kind of a hard balance, though, because you don't want us to fucking be robots, but then again, it's in terms of survival of the fucking fittest, in terms of society, if you got a freaking guy who's basically a fucking nerd and cries all damn day, he's also a fucking guy in school or in fucking prison that constantly gets his fucking ass whooped for being kind of what we would call being a little bitch. It's like you see a guy like fucking Arnold, for example, or The Rock or something. Those guys are the quintessential manly man of fucking dudes and shit too. Versus the guy who's showing emotion all day, and the guy showing weakness. He's also the one that gets kind of bullied and beat up on. It's a really hard fucking balance.
Well, it's not so much as a balance. Here's the thing. It's Susan, what you find outside of wrestling, outside of any TV shows, outside of any of that, when you look at a guy, when you want to mess with a guy, right, You can add physical features if you want to, but what do you find attractive? And what would you find to be a partner, a significant other, and a man?
Outside of like physical attraction, like I want a guy who like can like do things. Like if a guy can like work with his hands, if a guy can like do like, it's hard to like describe.
Yeah.
Because basically, I've only had one.
I know, but what was it? But grew up with dad, for example. Dad had fucking calluses in his fucking hands. Dad could wire his entire house. He could build like a back porch. Dad was handyman. He was a fucking man's man. I told Selena, I think Selena this once. Like in my lifetime, I see my father cry one time in my fucking life. That was when he was really friggin' drunk, and he just was crying about mom. For back in the day, mom was going through this phase where she was blocking me and the girls from seeing dad, and dad got really emotional saying how much he missed his kids and stuff, and he missed us and wanted to be with us, and he cried his fucking eyes out. But he had a lot of fucking drinks and was drunk. And other than that too, dad would take a punch to the face. Dad would take a bullet. Dad never showed emotion. Dad never cried. Dad was a manly man, but he was the handyman and stuff. Like he could do anything with his fucking hands. He wasn't like getting manicures and stuff, wearing like having little fucking dogs. He wasn't crying during fucking movies. He was his generation.
That's the thing is like I would prefer a guy. Honestly, like I'd love to be with a guy who like isn't afraid to show me that he has an emotion, any form of emotion. But at the same point in time, I'd love a guy who like, knows how to fix a car.
Steadfast.
Like, could freaking like if like a pipe bursts in the sink, like he can fix it with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Like.
It's a hard balance. Like I've said this before. Like with my personal issues, like what's the difference between confidence and arrogance? I don't know. I really don't. That's why I said I'm.
Oh, because you don't have either.
Well, for me, I can be an arrogant fucking prick. I choose not to be. I prefer being the shy, more fucking like low self-esteem person because I don't want to have arrogance.
But like asking that question of a woman, though, a woman could in turn ask that same question of a guy. Because like right now, you look at 2/3 of the women in this country, it's like all about feminism. Like, and not like proper feminism. It's about like the feminazi, like superiority complex that like a lot of these women have now.
Yeah.
And like where that's concerned, like, do you guys find that attractive in a woman? Or
Here's
are you
what
more
I
attracted
find.
to a woman?
Ooh, I like this. Ooh.
Or are you more attracted to a woman who is like, natural, like original feminist? Or are you more into like the woman who stays home, takes care of the kids, doesn't work, relies on you, and like is
funny you mention
like that.
I'll let Junior talk, but funny you mention. Actually, I had a talk with Selena the other night about that. But before I get to, I'll let Junior mention it because me and Selena just actually had a very similar conversation about this.
I feel like there's a spectrum to femininity.
Because that's the thing. Like guys can ask a woman a million times a day, like, "Hey, what do you look for in a guy?" You don't realize like. The same can be said for a guy. Like, what do you look for in a woman?
I'll answer that question. I'll answer that question right now.
Outside of like physical attraction. Like,
I got you right here. Yeah. There's a meme that's on Facebook, right? There's a meme that's on Facebook that J. Cole. It was a Twitter that J. Cole posted, right? Okay. That he said, pretty girls with natural bodies and regular jobs are still winning. Mm-hmm. Don't let the social media shit fool you.
Thank you.
And when I saw that meme, my eyes widened, brightened up. Almost a tear in my eye came. Because that was literally what attracts me to a woman. Number one, intelligence. Number two, close to number one, hygiene, obviously, right?
Yeah.
That's my top two, right? Intelligence, hygiene is 1-1.
I feel like in most intelligent women
right there, you have to, it's just like, if I cannot have an intelligent conversation with you about what's going on in this world, you are not for me. If I cannot bring you out here and I can't, and I talk about, the weather patterns and I talk about other things like that, and you look at me like I got 8 heads, you're not the one for me.
Yeah.
I need to be able to have an intelligent conversation with you. That is the biggest turn on for me. The biggest turn on for me ever is an intelligent conversation. You know what I mean? That's number one. So your mental is going to tell me everything. The ability to communicate is also very key. And that plays in the intelligence part when it comes in relationships. That plays it right then and there. Because I said this before on Facebook. I said, I hate it when women say communication is number one. but then they don't answer questions. Like, when you literally sit there and you say, well, yeah, I value communication, but then you have one-word answers if I ask you if anything is wrong.
Nope.
No.
Yes.
Or I'm gonna be honest in like one thing 100% when it comes to like me personally, when it comes to a relationship, I don't want someone who's gonna be clingy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same point, it's like a double standard though.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be clingy, but at the same point, like, don't have like this female best friend who constantly is all about like saying like, oh, this is my best friend. Because women saying a guy is her best friend half the time means she wants to get in his pants.
Okay, I'm not gonna say half the time. Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you 100% with that statement, but I'm not gonna say half the time.
I feel like it is different, but I also feel like a level of communication needs to be involved that I feel like not a lot of people are capable of having.
Yeah.
But like that too, like that, like if you're trying to like start a relationship with someone, like not for nothing, like I'm done with like what I was doing with Longhorn, partially because of the fact that there is a girl who we both know who, though she's known for a while that I liked him, so on and so forth, she never knew until like about a couple months ago that we did actually do whatever. And she would constantly, like, just every post on Facebook, every time, like, we could be standing there talking, all of a sudden she walks up and she, like, butts in.
Yeah, she's clingy. She's being
Damn.
an energy vampire to your relationship. She's jealous.
And it's like, yo, like, back the fuck off. He was not talking to you.
Like, have some respect.
I don't care that he's your best friend. Guess what, bitch? I'm the one who he's fucking. Yeah. So knock the fuck off.
Okay.
And I'm glad you haven't talked about him, too, because, like, I would have felt some type of way if he didn't nip that in the bud. Like, hey, I understand that we have a platonic relationship and, like, I do care about you, but I'm in a romantic relationship with Sue and I do care about her. And, like, you know, regardless of our friendship, this should still be respected.
And, like, I didn't tell her until we were done. And now he has a new girlfriend.
Damn.
Oh,
and she still does that. She still does that. Even though, like, he's, like, open and honest about this fucking relationship.
Just curious, because that came over from last week, so listening to that, like, did he give you a reason why? I'm just curious. Like, did he tell you, like, hey, I'm cutting this off because of... Did he give you a reason, or he just cut it off?
Nope. We just stopped.
Damn. That sucks.
He doesn't deserve you anyway.
I'm a little bit bitter when it comes to him.
Like now me and Junior feel like kicking his ass.
Like, I'm a little bitter right now where he's concerned, and, like, honestly, like, I don't really care. But at the same point in time, I still do kind of care because it's like you could have given me a reason.
Okay, I gotta chime in.
Your time. Like,
I gotta
trying to have his cake and eat it too. Like,
at least Sue knows that. Like,
but here's the thing: like, what it is like it's not. I don't care about like the sex part. Like, that's fine. He cut me off even as like a friend.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
So like for me, that's more of like a bigger like. That breaks my heart more than that.
Before Junior says something, and I've talked about this with Salena, like, you know, because we have a lot of discussions. I do admit, like, I've had female friends that I wish we never ever fucking kissed or talked, because, and Junior said this.
Well, that's another thing. I have another guy friend who is basically my best friend, guy-wise, and he's constantly saying now, he's like, you know, you did it with him, like, why can't you and I? And I'm like, you don't realize, like, if I did that with you the same way I did that with him, that would ruin shit. He's like, oh,
I hate guys like that.
Get emotional, and I'm like, it's always going to be emotional.
Well,
that's the thing too about where I to go off of what Will said, Junior said, where it talks about how like guys can, you know, have sex and worry about the emotions later. Like most women, because I definitely don't want to speak for all women, because obviously there's an exception.
Oh no, I definitely had emotion where that was concerned. Like,
I feel like most women need emotional connection and trust before they can have sex. I feel like a guy, they don't really need emotional connection or trust before having sex. They can have sex and worry about that later. Yeah. For women, it's a lot different. Well, for most women, I feel like for me personally, I identify as a demisexual, where like I need emotional connection in order for me to feel sexual attraction. If I don't feel emotional connection to a person or trust to a person, like it doesn't matter what you look like, it's really more me. If I can trust you, like I can grow sexual attraction for you. Sorry.
Well, I don't trust
you. That's code for like you're fucking ugly.
No, it's not. It's not about even being ugly. Like I have a keen sense of beauty. Beauty is a spectrum too. And then it's when it comes with like feminism and stuff. Like feminism definitely evolved. Like what it means to be a woman and a feminist is different for everybody now. Like you can be a stay-at-home mom and be a feminist. You can be a single woman and a CEO and still be a feminist. It's just there's a spectrum now.
I'm gonna let Junior talk, but like I'm a dickhead. If you gain 200 pounds, we're not talking anymore.
Okay, all right.
Oh, really? You're not a chubby chaser?
Okay. Susan.
Oh boy.
Go ahead.
Susan, I'm gonna comment on what you said, then I'm gonna comment on what Salena said, then I'm gonna comment on what Chris said.
If you gain 200 pounds, Chris, I would love you still.
Huh?
I would try to prevent that from happening.
And that's why you're a better person than me.
So, Susan, just like Longhorn, this guy that is supposedly your best friend has no intention of being your friend. He has only the intention of getting play. This is a man. This is like many men that's around here. Do not have the intention of being your friend. So you have two choices in this situation. You can cut them off completely because you fucked up to be a friend. You know what it is to be a friend.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what it is to be a friend. It's platonic. It's not sexual.
Exactly.
To be sexual means you're fuck buddies, which means you're friends with benefits. And if the benefits part doesn't need to be there for you to have a strong friendship. And that he doesn't understand that because he's immature. And he's
no, man, I'm sorry for that, Sue. Honestly, also looking in, what it sounds like he's trying to be manipulative. It's like, oh, you don't want to basically be FWBs with me. I'm not going to try to talk to you as leverage since I know it would hurt you since we... Like, I feel like he's just trying to be an emotionally vampire to your relationship.
Well, that's the thing is, like, now, like, I'm trying to, like, avoid him as much as possible because of the fact that it's, like, you know, yes, we call each other our best friends, but at the same point, like, a best friend does not...
Exactly.
Like, my female best friend, I can call her my female best friend. She's not trying to have sex with me.
Not trying to throw an ultimatum out there to say, well, either have sex with me or we're not best friends.
He's trying to use her care for him to try to like get emotional level. Like he's trying to manipulate you, and fuck that. That's not a friend.
And like that's the issue where Longhorn was concerned. Is like we were friends for 2 years. He knew I had an attraction to him. He basically had one towards me. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had fucking sex in the first place. But like we were basically together for a good 6 months.
It's kind of a long time.
And then it just stops.
Well, I'm gonna to comment on what I was saying about to Salena about what you were saying before about how a lot of these women they respond more to emotionals, right? They respond more to the emotional side of things, right? I don't feel like that's a sexuality. I don't feel like that is a sexual identity to need to have emotional connections
in order to have
first.
sex with some. But some people can have a lot. Like some women can have sex without emotional attachment either. Like, hey, I just want to get my.
But I don't feel
off.
like that. Remember when you said that you identify as demisexual because you need the emotional attachment? I feel like the emotional attachment is already present in women. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you identify as. Like, I think that a lot of, like, Susan here. Susan developed an emotional attachment to Longhorn as they were having sex. You know what I mean? And it was there before they had sex because she already liked him. Right. So the emotional connection was already there, and especially when they've been friends for over 2 years. You know what I mean? Before they even started having sex to begin with.
Yeah, that just seems manipulative.
So...
And especially 2 years is a long time.
So
friends.
To comment on what you were saying, Salena, I'm going to say that women, like I said before, like women, you are 100% right that men does not need an emotional attachment to have sex. Not at all.
Most men.
Most men.
Or a lot of men. Some men.
I'm going to say most.
I don't want to generalize all men.
I'm going to say most.
I don't want to generalize all women.
I hate myself.
But, like, I feel like it is common for a lot of women.
Like, Chris is the exception to this, right? Because this is why I say most, because Chris is an exception to this.
I'm a fucking loser.
Chris cannot...
Chris isn't a loser, but although
You're not
it
a
does
loser.
worry me that it's just like, oh, like, I'm a
Chris
guy.
was
Of course I'm a
raised
guy.
by-
You shove titties in my face and say you want to fuck me. Of course I'm going to want to fuck you. Oh, thanks. Thanks for telling me that.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, it's just the fact that at the end of the day, what it comes down to, right, is Chris will never view you as a friend. Ever in your life now that you guys, like, hooked up. you're never ever going to be his friend. He's not going to view you as a friend. Like, he's going to look at you as a significant other.
Well, yeah, me and Chris, we're definitely lovers, and we're definitely trying to build, like, a relationship together.
Yeah, but I'm just saying overall, though, a lot of men aren't like that. Like, a lot of, the vast majority of men, especially in this generation, especially the younger generation, does not view women as their girlfriend after they have sex. No. They don't. They just view you as a girl they had sex with.
I know, that's
they don't even view you as anything but a piece of meat that they fucked. That's it.
Oh, I was even telling her, like, obviously I was hanging out with more of your uncles more and shit.
Yeah.
Like, because I was 10 years older than you and shit. But, like, even in high school, I was hearing terms like, running trains, even talking to your dad. Your dad mentioned this once about, like, swapping different girls. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, swapping girls? Like, I just, there's never, like, I love you like a fucking, like, you're the closest thing to a little brother I fucking have.
Yeah.
There's never been one time in our 30-year fucking friendship, like, Junior, if you're fucking, like, Kim and I'm fucking, whatever, pick a name, Heather or something, at some point we're going to switch, and, like, now I'm fucking your chick, you're fucking my chick. Like, dudes would do this shit kind of shit, like running. This, the things I would grow up, even a teenager, hearing guys do to girls, and then this came into my 20s, my 30s, in prison, in fucking in different jobs, whether it's Arby's or Goodwill or fucking even like my current job in the garage, the way fucking dudes would treat women, I'm like, I guess I'm the fucking exception, because the way you guys treat these women, I just can't, like, you'd hear guys have, like, the past 4 weekends I fucked like 10 different girls, and I'm like, did you even know her name? Like, nah, I forgot her name halfway through it. And I'm like,
but she had a fat ass, so that's just why I wanted to hit it.
Like, I know this, and I take this why
her name is fat ass.
I keep saying it. Why this is like, I feel like and you know this, like, so many times in my lifetime I've heard men and women say, like, Chris, you're such, like, you're so unique, you're so special. I'm like, well, sometimes being, like, special is very lonely, because so many fucking dudes treat women like that, where, like, you're 100% right. I cannot have sex with a fucking girl unless I'm emotionally invested with her.
Yeah.
So if I have sex with a fucking girl, I gotta really care about her.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the kind of person where, like, I just fuck her. I've never hit and quit it. No. And this is not dissing you or anybody, but, like, I don't have a male friend who hasn't had. I've never in my lifetime ever, in fucking, I'll be 40 fucking years old in August and stuff, never had a fucking one night stand. And part of me takes that in fucking pride in front of the girls, but then again, said as a guy's standpoint, part of me is kind of embarrassed about that shit, because when I hear about guys who've had so many one night stands,
I find that more wholesome and honestly more mature. I just feel like guys who sleep around are just honestly very insecure. They don't know what they want. Like, they're immature. But that's where the thing where I feel like what a lot of women make mistakes about with being, like, indirect with their feelings.
Yeah.
Is like, they'll sleep with a guy and they like him so much they want to be with him, so they'll do all, like, these indirect ways, like, oh, I'll always be there for him, I'll always talk to him, I'll always, want to be with him and, like, sleep with him because I'm sexually attracted to him, and do all these things that a girlfriend would do, and then they'll never friggin' match up to it, because it's, like, all unspoken and indirect, and now the girl's feeling resentful, like, I'm doing all this stuff to you because I'm trying to be your girlfriend, and I'm doing this to you because I want you to be my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then they feel resentful and get mad. Like, don't get me wrong, I do that and stuff, but I'm honest about it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, I'm doing this for you because, like, I really like you, and, like, I want you to be my boyfriend and stuff like that. And guys, like, rejected me because of that. I'm like, okay, well, you want to know what? Thanks for letting me know, because I'm not going to give you girlfriend benefits and stuff if you don't want to be my boyfriend, or if you're not trying to be my boyfriend.
To be exclusive.
But at the same time, it's also manipulative. Like, I even tell them that, like, when I really like someone, like, I'll kind of infiltrate their life. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to want me. I want you to depend on me. So, like, I'll do things like, like, I'll buy toilet paper, and I'll do your dishes.
You want
and
him
I'll
to want you, you need him to need you.
Yeah, I want that because, like, I like you, so I want you to, like, want me back. So, like, I'll do, like, little things so that when you do run out of toilet paper, or when your dishes are, like, full, or when your cat does need to be fed, you think of me, because I've, like, infiltrated your life, and I'm trying to put myself in your life. And then all of a sudden, when I feel resentful, when I feel like you're not being boyfriend material, then I don't want to talk to you anymore.
I think it's more what you're talking about. What you just said was indirect. Like, you said that already. You said indirect, but a lot of men, especially me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I value direct communication more than anything in the world. I don't care what anybody. It's not that I don't care. That's the wrong way to put it. I'm not going to look at it as a way that you like me because you did something for me. You know what I mean? I'm going to look at it as you're being nice.
Yeah, that's why I have to tell him, like, I'm not doing this because I'm being nice. Like, I'm doing this because I like you. Because it's a love language. You know what I mean? Everybody's love language is different.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, like, I had to tell him, like, I had to tell people, like, I'm doing this because of that.
Mixed signals is never going to get to me.
Yeah.
The way for me, my love language is direct communication. My direct language is words being spoken to me and the actions that follow those words being spoken to me. That's direct communication.
Yeah, mine's services. Like, I'll do things for you. Like, do your dishes.
You have your way. Yeah, you have your way to connect with people. Yeah. And Chris, he's honestly the most indirect person that I know as well.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to learn that. It confuses me sometimes.
Yeah, he's very indirect, just like you are in a sense. He actually has the same approach as you, just differently.
Has he insulted you yet, or come up with a nickname?
He does it all the time.
Yeah.
I think I like Salena like the sloth.
Oh yeah, I'm a sloth. That's new.
Don't feel bad. I'm a panda.
I'm
Junior's a hyena. Come on.
I'm an asshole.
I'd rather be Snorlax.
Snorlax be resting. I ain't gonna lie.
He is big.
Be resting.
Eats a lot of food. You can't slash rest. Like
rest. I'm telling you, rest is crazy. But anyway, so it's just a fact. It's like, you know, we can talk all day about this and all podcasts about this. I'm gonna wrap up my segment on this by simply saying it's just like, there is, to me, I'm not going to say that there's a double standard. I'm not going to believe in the double standard. I'm going to say that there is a societal standard that a lot of different people come to when it comes to when it comes to guys talking about women and when it comes to women talking about men. Like there's just a different societal standard these days. You know what I mean? Like the societal standard for women is you don't hook up with a lot of guys. Mm-hmm. The societal standard for guys is you need to be more wanted. If you're not wanted by women, then they're not going to view you as attractive. You know what I mean? And it's not even just and remember, when we keep saying this, we keep using this example, but we don't follow it up. Like when we say, well, when women hook up with a lot of guys, we look at them like, you know, men look at them like they're hoes. And when guys hook up with a lot of women, we look at them like they're heroes. Here's the thing, right? We get attacked from both sides no matter what we do. If you sit there, if Chris, I'm just throwing an example out there because obviously or I'll just use myself because Chris is just nowhere near any example I would ever use in this situation.
Thanks.
So here's the thing, right? I tell Chris one day, be like, hey, I hooked up with 30 women. You know what I mean? I hooked up with 30 women over the past month.
You're the fucking man.
I had a different girl every night for the last month.
You're my fucking idol,
right? You know what I mean?
Stinson.
You know, here's how I would be looked at, right?
At its finest.
Here's how I would be looked at, right? I would be looked at by a lot of women like I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like whether you're a guy or a girl, if you sleep around a lot, I just see that you're just desperate for love.
Yeah.
You're desperate for attention.
Yeah.
You don't know how to be alone.
Yeah.
And you're desperate to feel something, and you're addicted to sex.
Yeah. But the societal standard is if you hook up with a lot of females, that means you're an attractive guy and you're more wanted, and more girls want to know why you're more wanted. That's the societal standard for a man hooking up with a lot of females.
Not even but American standard. Like we talked about this about look at other countries. Countries. You ever notice other countries and other religions, other parts of the fucking world? You ever notice that one man can have like 7, 8, 9 wives?
Yep. The societal standard over there is different. Even in Dubai.
So what I'm saying, it's not even just an American thing. It's a species thing.
That's why I said it's a societal standard.
But we're making America.
I was debating about being someone's second wife.
Oh yeah, you told me about that before. It was actually pretty funny.
I talked to somebody. It was through a social app called Vent.
Yeah.
So you're kind of on it anonymous, and you can just vent.
Thank God for the podcast.
It's separate from all your different social media accounts. So it's basically like you can complain about your life without like your family and friends really knowing
who you are,
and you can still talk to people and get support. So I met him through that because there's a Not Safe for Work group, which is great. I highly recommend that Not Safe for Work group. It's hilarious, but also erotic. And we like met through like a Not Safe for Work group and really got to know each other. But he worked in Dubai, and he was kind of pretty much already betrothed because he was Muslim. His parents still lived in India, and he was betrothed to his cousin.
Yeah.
And we really liked each other, and he was like, and we even thought about going on 90 Day Fiancé or something like that. And this was a couple years ago.
I'm writing this shit down.
But
Jesus Christ.
But we talked for a while, and he said that he, if I were to get married to him, I would have to live in India and take care of his family while he still worked in Dubai, because that's kind of why his family wants to rush him to get married, so they can basically have his wife take care of them. And I was like, well, I don't really want to be your first wife. That kind of sounds sad. I kind of want to be with you. And I was like, is there a way where I can just be your second wife? Like, can't you just marry your cousin and your cousin could take care of your family and then we can get married and I can live with you in Dubai? And he was like, well, that does sound nice, but the first wife would have to agree to the second marriage. So if the first wife doesn't allow it, then he wouldn't be able to have a second wife.
Yeah. So but again, when you hear a woman marrying multiple men, the societal standard's going to be, she's a hoe, or why is she doing this? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that is approved in multiple, in some cultures.
Yeah, in some cultures,
some tribes, but it's also under different circumstances.
And actually, some African tribes, it's actually acceptable. It's actually, a woman actually is married to multiple guys in certain tribes in Africa.
And it's usually brothers. It tends to be within the family to keep the, it's just
bloodline
another,
going.
Yeah, it's just another way to keep property and finances. It's just another way to use the women to keep, their property.
That's why I understand feminism to that extent. I understand feminism to that extent because it's just the not so, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the societal standard is so different from men to women, and women want to feel more empowered, and it's understanding, right? But there's something that I noticed about feminism that I will not agree with. Mm-hmm. When you start attacking a man, when you're attacking men for an opinion, right? Or even if they're presenting facts, and you start attacking men for presenting a fact, you know what I mean? It's just like with any other organization, with any other group, with any other community, you start losing respect, right? Mm-hmm. I respect feminism to the extent that women should feel empowered. Mm-hmm. They should get equal pay. Mm-hmm. When there's even in most situations, women are getting paid more than men. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In a lot of different professions around the world, women are getting paid more than men. So the equal pay thing, we might as well just get rid of. You know what I mean? And that's not even just his words. That's just me doing my research. There's a lot of professions that women are getting paid more than men.
The wage gap has changed my mind.
So the equal pay thing needs to just already go away. But equal justice, I definitely agree with to some extent as well.
We talked about that in this program.
But this is where this is where we bite back a little bit, because I will sit there and say right now that in most situations, especially in the court situation, women have the advantage over a man.
They do.
Yes.
In many different situations in the courtroom, right? So when they sit there and say, well, equal justice, women want equal justice. Okay, let's talk about that. I'm going to go in terms of sexual assault, right? I looked at the federal database. 23.8% of women that have been sexually assaulted reported it. Right?
Oh my God, that's
23.8. That is really low. So 238 out of 1,000 women report their sexual assaults, right? To a man, it's 1 out of 1,000. So it does happen to men. Mm-hmm. And they're just as likely to be victimized.
Oh, definitely, yes.
As women. But if you say that, you're a piece of shit and you're a sexist because you're defending men. Mm-hmm. And when you go to court for any sort of custody over your child, a woman is automatically going to get the advantage. Why? Because women are nurturing.
Yeah, but another thing though is that if a woman were to have a child and abandon it, they would get charged with child abandonment if the father were to run away and have. If I were to get pregnant and the father were to leave, I'm stuck with being a single mother.
That's true.
I can't charge the father with child abandonment. If it was vice versa, I could be charged with child abandonment.
You're exactly right. But in a situation where a man is doing the right thing for himself, mm-hmm. that wants custody of the child, and a woman who isn't doing nearly as good, but she still has something, mm-hmm. she still has the advantage in court. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In that situation. And I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Oh yeah, I definitely seen it.
Multiple cases where a man would have his shit completely together and still lose custody.
Or worse.
Yeah. Have proof, like child support. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's just like, yeah, but what your situation is, like, yeah, that definitely does happen.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's nothing nearly as compared to, like, the amount of domestic cases and the amount of domestic abuse against women trying to get custody and trying to get protection from their abusive partners.
It's 60, to me, it's 60-40. This is very opinionated here. Mm-hmm. I believe that it's 60-40 that men abuse slightly more women than women abuse men. Because women abuse men too. Okay. But and it's at a way more significant rate than people like to admit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like but the stigma is though. Yeah, whatsoever. But this
and when they do, they're seen as being weak.
Yep. If I report to the police that a girl is beating the shit out of me, cops would laugh at me. They wouldn't even take it seriously. I would not find that funny
at all. I'm so sorry.
They would take that shit. They wouldn't even take that shit seriously. In society today, if I went to say that a woman beat the shit out of me, if a woman raped me, if a woman beat the shit out of me, we would get laughed at. And we would get bashed on social media. We would get bashed at social media. Like, completely. They'd be like, oh, he didn't get raped by that woman. He wanted to fuck her. Swear to God.
Ain't wrong.
Cardi B admitted to drugging.
They made a movie about it.
To drugging, raping, and robbing men. Admitted to it.
That movie Hustler is all about fucking shit she did.
And they were glamorizing it. At any point in time that a man was to come forward and say that Cardi B raped me, Cardi B raped me, they would get laughed at. She raped me and she robbed me. They would get laughed at.
It's fucked up. It was a dog-eat-dog world, probably when that dynamic Cardi B was living in. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not good.
Yeah.
That she did it. It's just that whole environment is just fucked up.
But it's still, in the legal system and legally, men are at a severe disadvantage to women overall.
Like right now. So what if any modern male, whether it's a rapper, actor, musician, basketball player, whatever, came out and say, hey, listen, like I was taking girls, I'm a male stripper. I was taking girls back to a hotel room. I was roofing them, having sex with them, and robbing them. What would happen to that guy?
That guy would be in prison.
That fucker be slain.
Yeah, he would be in prison.
Yeah.
In prison within a month.
Well, because the thing is, because of the ratio, a lot more men are doing that. A lot more men are drugging and raping women than a lot more women are drugging and raping men. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, and the penalty shouldn't be same and shouldn't be taking any less seriously.
But it is.
I guess, I don't know.
It is. It's taken way less seriously. Yeah. It's taken significantly less seriously. Do you know 98.9% of rape arrests are men? 98.9% are men. That ratio doesn't even make any sense because there's way more men getting sexually assaulted and raped than just 1.2% of the male population around the world. Yeah. But 98.9% of rape arrests are men.
Have you ever been sexually assaulted, Will?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I felt uncomfortable. I was sexually harassed, but I wasn't sexually assaulted. I was sexually harassed. I was. Like, when I was out on the floor at Best Buy, my ex-girlfriend came in, and she was just making, like, a bunch of obscene noises and shit, as she was there. And, well, I don't know if, I guess this technically counts as sexual assault. Like, she pretty much grabbed me when I was, like, walking down the aisle, toward going into the warehouse because I wanted to get away from her, and she grabbed me, right? Yeah. Now I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna go through it. Am I comfortable? Absolutely fucking not. I'm not comfortable, but I'm just gonna go through it because what am I gonna say to a Gilgirland police officer? I'm gonna say to a Gilgirland police officer that this girl grabbed my dick and she needs to be arrested for sexual assault. But God forbid, I grabbed her titties and fucking. If I grabbed her titties in the middle of the fucking mall and she cried out that she was uncomfortable, and she was cried out that she was uncomfortable, I'd be in cuffs.
Yeah,
I'd be fired from my job. I'd be in cuffs. I'd be away. But if I go and sit there and tell the cop, "Hey, cop, this girl grabbed my dick and I felt uncomfortable," he's gonna be like, "What, are you gay?"
Yeah.
He's not gonna sit there, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna take what I'm saying seriously. He's not gonna arrest her for sexual harassment and sexual assault like I would be.
That's why this whole Johnny Depp thing has been like, and not even just us. Like I've seen YouTube videos and Twitter accounts. Like it's not just Johnny Depp as a person, but it's Johnny Depp representing all men of what the shit goes through. Like
and I fucking love Johnny Depp, and I feel so bad.
And you're not alone. And my sister Jennifer, when she was down here, she didn't know about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I told Jen, Jen started reading this shit. She goes, "Wow, this is fucked up." And I'm like, it's the double standard of like not just Johnny Depp, but like not in Hollywood. I said, financially speaking, he'll be fine. And he's got a fucking career. Johnny Depp ain't going nowhere. But how many millions of guys aren't Johnny Depp?
Yeah,
that lost their life,
right?
Serving their sentences in prison.
Right, he's not the only one
false
going
accusations.
through that. Yeah,
certain sentences in prison for false accusations, losing their job off of a minor incident or anything like that. That wasn't even like. Here's the thing: a woman can accuse you of anything, and you're automatically guilty.
And someone will be mad about it and just
you're automatically
before
guilty.
they even hear the other story.
Yep, you're automatically guilty. If a woman went to the news and went to the cops at any point in time and said that I did something, my face is on the front. My face is on the news now. Mm-hmm. My face is on social media. My face is everywhere, and I'm automatically devoured by social media.
Okay, but also, I feel like even falsely accused cases are still just a minority out of most cases.
Yes, you're right.
I feel like I'm not saying like that doesn't happen, but it's just only a small percentage out of like the real problem, which is stuff
it's
like that does
1
exist,
in 15.
which is why it is so easy for women to abuse the system because it is so prevalent that, you know, a woman could just cry wolf and it is so easy to believe because it is so prevalent in like
well, that's why I think the problem
society.
with human beings was like Susan mentioned, like modern feminism. Everybody here, like me and Junior, if Alistair and Elliot and Carlton, they've got, you know, wives and girlfriends and like, you know, mothers and sisters. I'm 100% the company I work for right now. Everybody, doesn't matter whether you're white or black or woman or you're 18 years old or 70 years old, everybody makes the exact same rate. Doesn't matter if you work in the garage or a driver mechanic, everyone makes the exact same fucking thing. So I'm 100% fucking for that. If, you know, Salena, you work my job, you, me, should make the exact same thing. But like any kind of movement, whether it's Black Lives Matter, Antifa, or feminism and shit, people start something with purity and they go so overboard.
It gets ruined by the bad apples.
Exactly.
Like, don't get me
and that's
wrong.
The problem.
It is hard. Like, the thing is, like, I identify as a feminist, but at the same time, I don't. Because at the end of the day, big picture looking in the history of feminism, it is really evolving. Like, feminism back then isn't the same as feminism is now. Definitely is evolving to the point where it really is hard to put like a specific label on it. Like, yeah, I agree with a lot of feminist beliefs to the point where like, yeah, I do identify as a feminist on it. But me personally, just who I am, I don't like putting a label on anything. Yeah. It's because I'm always evolving and always learning. And I definitely don't want to put femininity into a box because men can be feminine as well. Like masculinity and femininity exist in all forms. So, but another thing that women do have to deal with is like there are a lot of single mothers. It's like, yeah, I can work with Chris, we can be the same pay, but I'm a single mother with 3 kids. I have to go home and cook and clean and take care of children all while being a full-time worker. And no matter what, I can't win. It's like when I work people, they want women to be the best worker as if they don't have any kids. And when they're home, they want women to be the best mother as if they don't have a full-time job. Yep. So it is really hard to balance, and it's just the realism of what it's like being a woman and the responsibility of being a woman. And it's not like women aren't capable of doing the same thing as men. It's just so much history and just a lot of factors when it comes to religion and how society evolves. Like women, we have the biological burden of a child. That's the whole reason why women became hunter and gatherers. We weren't hunter and gatherers because we were weaker. We were hunter and gatherers because we were holding children, and we can't hunt all year. We have to hold our children, hold the child, and take care of our child. We have to stay home.
And feed it too. Like obviously, like men can't breastfeed, but women can. You know,
like women can hunt, but they are more biologically responsible to a child because they have to hold it, which is kind of why society evolved that way. Yeah. But
So I have a question for you, Salena.
And plus, on top of protecting the kid, women are biologically and chemically more nurturing, more understanding. Men are just more physical, and like from a physical aspect, at least in our species, you know, it's like out of me or Christina, you know, it's like who do you think's going to protect Christian more, me or Christina? It's not even a fucking question. You know?
Well, I mean, we know that mostly because of personality and
But I'm saying, but in terms of like, you know, it's like if 2 guys break into the fucking apartment, who do you think's going to fucking stop these 2 guys, me or her? That's biology for you, you know. But you know, there's certain things about her that biologically she can do better for him that I can't, you know, and I'm fine with that. You know, that's why I hate this whole equality in a sense, that fact that we are not equal. We're not, because it's like people, whether it's black or white or men or women, we're not fucking equal. No doubt. You know, it's even a fucking male. If I work a job and it's if every hour I say freaking I create 10 pallets, for example, and Junior fucking creates 15 pallets, we're not equal. He's actually better than me, okay? And we're both fucking males. That's nothing to do with fucking gender. Now, if it's Salena, if you're working a fucking job, Junior makes 15 pallets, Chris makes 10 pallets, and you make fucking 5, we're not equal. You're behind us. That's just how it fucking is in terms of productivity and shit.
Yeah, that's in like a certain perspective. I agree with that. I don't think I feel like we are all equal in like complementary ways. Like, yeah, obviously, like when it comes to like physical strength, or when it comes to intelligence, or when it comes to emotional intelligence or art, everybody's gonna have their, like, not all artists are equal. Obviously, some people can draw better. It's good to compartmentalize that.
Yeah, but I'll let you finish. But like, I'll go back to after that too with someone Salena about my grandma and grandfather in a minute. But I'll let you finish your statement. So,
well, the question that I have for you, Salena, is that based on modern day feminism, okay, do you believe that the actual movement for women has diminished significantly since the organization of feminism has been more on the move for attacking men than to defend women in terms of empowerment and equality in all aspects? Because, and here's, and this is a sensitive question because of the fact that there's a lot of times that men are attacked more for certain things by feminists as opposed to empowering a woman through understanding, like, okay, like in certain aspects, you're going to attack a man when it comes to rape. When it comes to rape, you're going to attack a man. Shit, we're going to attack. Rape is
always wrong. Like,
yeah, we're going to attack a man when it comes to rape in itself. But when you have a difference of opinion about something, and you automatically say, like, when it comes down to like the differences between a man and a woman, and like again the legal system, or if it comes to a difference between a man and a woman at a bar, or the difference between a man and a woman, and like in any scenario, you know what I'm saying? Any scenario when a guy can sit there and say that there are differences between a man and a woman, that man gets attacked. You know what I'm saying? For presenting a fact. You know what I mean? That's an organization of women attacking a man. That's not feminism. You know what I mean? But they will claim that they're for feminism. But doesn't that diminish the power in a sense for the community as a whole? Because feminism is a community. You know what I'm saying? Just like LGBT is a community.
Right.
Just like, you know, Black Lives Matter is a community. But the organization part of it, where women where certain women get together, like for example, the person who did I forgot her name, but she directed the new Charlie's Angels movie.
Oh yeah.
And she said that the reason that the movie didn't do good at the box office was because men doesn't like women in power. So when we watch an attack on a man from a feminist, you know what I mean? That said that the reason that this didn't do good. Atomic Blonde is a great movie. I love Atomic Blonde, and that's a female-led movie.
I bought it.
That was a great movie. You know what I mean? That was a great movie. You understood her strengths. You understood that she fended for herself. She beat the shit out of a lot of guys. You know what I mean? But she was a spy.
She also got her ass kicked, too.
But she also got her ass kicked. You know what I mean? But in Charlie's Angels, it seemed like these girls couldn't even get hurt. Like, they were like invincible to hits. They were invincible to everything. And we're looking at this like this is like a Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. So how that could have displayed like a projection of just frustrated feminism. But I definitely relate to her comment. Like, I see like as masses in a big picture how that would be personally offensive to the average Joe. But there aren't a lot of women directors. There is a lot of sexism in Hollywood, and a lot of women directors aren't respected. And the reason why they aren't popular is because of sexism in Hollywood. I'm not saying that it's not changing. I feel like that comment wasn't necessarily to the male gender. I just felt like it was a comment towards the sexism in Hollywood. I have no idea what Hollywood is like. I definitely know that it's sexist outside looking in, and everybody says so, and they do sell sex. So I don't really take that like comment as attack on men. I just think I take that comment as her like a attack on being a small percentage female directors in a male dominated business.
But I'm pretty sure a female director directed Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, but that's a small percentage out of what is mainly mainstream, which is a male dominated film.
Yeah.
Not saying that's not changing.
Yeah.
And not saying that there isn't ignorance in her post, because outside looking, she still is privileged and all she does is live in Hollywood. She doesn't really know the day-to-day life of society, what people try to write about and make movies about.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Which is probably another disconnect to that film. She could have. You're just a upper class woman, you know what I mean? And trying to write about like real life shit to an extent.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of disconnect is in that film.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're answering my question. I am. I'm glad because I was called sexist one time because I said I was called sexist like heavily because when I was just explaining about the whole situation about women having a sort of quote advantage in the legal system when it comes to a lot of things, right? And I didn't say everything, but I did say a lot of things. Women have an advantage in the court system and legal system against men. So there was this football player, I don't remember his name, but I'm going to look it up for the next time that we actually bring up this conversation in future podcasts. But there was this guy who lost his entire career off of false accusation. He lost his life on a false accusation. He spent 27 years in prison. Name a woman that went to jail from a man's false accusation of sexual assault or rape. I'll wait. But I can name plenty of guys that went to jail and lost their lives because of false accusations.
As we're sitting here right now fucking drinking recording this, there's guys in prison right now.
I know, but it reminds you of that story of the woman Kim Kardashian freed. I forget her name, but she was kidnapped and she was sold into sex trafficking for years. Yeah. And she ended up killing her captor, and when they found her, they ended up arresting her with the murder.
Was it I think it was that Judy girl?
I forget her name, but
no,
I know
that was
Kim
a domestic
Kardashian
issue.
Was the one who made it very.
We actually did that in this podcast.
Publicized.
A news story about that. There's a young girl who she was basically a sex trafficker. She killed their fucking pimp, and they arrested
Cynthia
her.
Brown was one of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that's just.
Well, it's definitely proof
another
that
example
our legal
of
system
the
is
fucked up
seriously
judicial
fucked.
system.
Yeah, we have is a very.
It's not about men
flawed.
having it over women and women having it over men at that point. It's just the judicial system is fucked up, and it really only caters to the people who make enough money to pay off their fines and bills.
Well, I've said this before, and somebody's fucking going to fucking prison.
And their
Trust
bails.
me. If I had $10 million in my bank account, I would not have gotten the prison sentence I fucking got. That's why I do get overall tired. And I've said this on this podcast. I've said this for the past fucking 10 years since I've been fucking home. If you think for a second, I'm not saying that there are some instances that judges do fucking favor guys with certain colors. But overall, though, the only color that really fucking matters when it comes to fucking prison and jail is green.
Yes.
That's all that fucking matters. It doesn't matter because right now, if me and fucking Jay-Z go fucking kill a guy, I guarantee Jay-Z is not getting the fucking sentence I'm getting.
True.
Simple as fucking that.
True.
So.
I kind of see that perspective as well because a lot of upper class minorities, like Lil Wayne, they don't believe in racism.
Yeah.
Because in their perspective, they have all this money and power. They did it themselves despite their differences and despite their challenges and racism and animosity. They still did it, but it's also money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Brock Turner, for example. Brock Turner is the perfect example. Parents are millionaires. He went to an Ivy League school. He had 2 eyewitnesses place him under citizen's arrest. And he appealed to not have to label himself as a sex offender after raping a girl. Now, I don't agree with that. I support feminism to that extent that he should be punished to the fullest extent of the law.
That's just natural human rights. You violated someone's human rights. It's disgusting.
Exactly. And I support the feminists who attacked the shit out of Brock Turner. That I support because that's a legitimate fuck up in the court system.
Yeah.
But when you automatically, here's my thing. There's no such thing as guilty before innocent anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's what pisses me off about any one of these communities and organizations.
Yeah.
There is no guilty. It's no innocent before guilty anymore. Yeah, if you're accused of something, you're guilty before innocent.
That's mostly social media.
And that is, but because social media has become the new public relations, if you're accused of something and your face is all over social media as that, prepare to lose your livelihood. Mm-hmm. And that is what I have a problem with.
Like you were saying, because it's like, besides like, Salena knowing you, Susan knowing you, me, Al, your family and shit, for argument's sake, say for instance, like, obviously the example of Salena, but like, if Salena says on Facebook, hey, fucking Junior raped me, whether you were guilty or innocent, and if you come down to, she recants her statement, she says, I lied, if you go to fucking court, if you're cleared of all fucking charges, the fact that she at one point on social media said Junior fucking raped me, she accused you of raping her, you're slain for life.
Yep. Your reputation is immediately destroyed.
It would even fucking follow you into fucking future employers. Even if you tell a future employer, I was cleared of all charges, yeah, but
you were still accused.
Yeah.
And because you were accused, your life is still affected in such a negative way. Yeah. And that's just off of a false accusation.
Yeah.
And that is that is my biggest fucking gripe. And there are some feminists that will still defend the woman.
Exactly.
And that shit pisses me off.
Remember, Al said this on last podcast. Al said this a week ago. He goes, because you have so many fucking women this generation, the past 2 generations, where it's like, no matter what you do, honey, you're the victim. It's all the fucking man's fault. It's never your fucking fault. It's all the fucking evil men.
Shit.
I don't feel like all women have that.
Not all, but
perspective. I feel like if they do, then yeah, it's definitely a victim complex and a complex in and of themselves. But yeah, that's just what sucks. A lot of people use movements to abuse the system.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people use the Black Lives Matters movement
or Antifa or anything.
Like protests to abuse the system. It gets ruined by the bad apples. A lot of people use the feminist movement to, sabotage people and get revenge on men. And but I feel like that is still the small percentage.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is the minority, but the minority has become so loud. The minority has become so loud that it silences the majority. Yeah. You got to understand, why do you think so many movements haven't been respected for? It's because the loud minority, the loud radicals, the loud minority is so out there that people they ruin it, right? Like me personally, like when it comes to anything, like when it comes to Black Lives Matter, for example, right? All Black Lives matter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not just a couple that got killed by the police officers for, unknown and bad reasons. You know what I mean? It's all of them. Philando Castile, the Alton Shirt, Michael Brown, like all these guys that died that police officers should have been held accountable for, they never get mentioned. You know what I mean? But that's why I look at all Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? And when I say that, people are like, well, that's not what it is. It's Black Lives Matter, not all Black Lives Matter. Because if you say all Black Lives Matter, that means all lives matter. Yeah. So now are we just picking and choosing which Black Lives Matter? Mm-hmm. So and then that's when it comes down to the organization of they're just picking and choosing when it matters. And instead of the community saying there's still not equality in the system. And when the community says that there's not equality in the system, because it's true, because there's this judge, his name is John J. Sherwood, that he was a judge down in Alabama who sentenced a white guy to 2 years in prison for an armed robbery, but sentenced a black guy to 27 years for the same exact crime. Mm-hmm. That's not equal. You know what I mean? There's nothing about that's equal.
I've even said this as well, June. It's like, just we'll throw in Albany, for example, hey, the past month, 200 fucking black guys got killed. Yeah. I don't see any protests around here going on. About 200 black guys get killed. And I understand, like, if I was here, I would say, well, obviously, criminals versus cops are different standards and shit, no doubt. If it say, for instance, 5 innocent freaking black guys were killed by fucking cops, that's 5 innocent lives that shouldn't have been killed, no doubt. But the 200 fucking people who just died fucking from gang violence or just like criminals and shit.
In such a short period of time.
And what about those 200 people who just fucking died? Didn't their lives matter too? Yeah. I don't see any fucking protests, any fucking movements when it's just like all these fucking people keep dying, and it just comes down to, oh, well, that's society, that's a neighborhood. So you accept the fact that 200 people just fucking died, and but you flip out when 5 innocent people fucking die from fucking police brutality, which is wrong in itself. But like, I'm still looking at 205 people just fucking died. No matter where it came from, 200 people just fucking died. It doesn't matter whether it's fucking cops or fucking criminal shit too. Why don't you throw all this fucking energy into stopping the criminals? Why don't you fucking do protests? Why don't you start snitching? Why don't you start fucking doing more movements to slow these people down? But no, it's just like, snitches get stitches and shit, and cops, it says in the fucking podcast, we had in New York City, they said 85% of fucking crimes they can't fucking solve because there's no eyewitnesses whatsoever. So that means all these innocent fucking kids and adults were fucking killed, they can't put the people in fucking jail because you won't help them. And like, oh, cops aren't doing their fucking jobs. They're trying to do their fucking jobs, but nobody's seen nothing. So you're fine with the fact that in New York City or LA or any of these fucking big cities, people are fucking dying at record-breaking fucking numbers, and like they just keep dying and dying and dying. And well, cops aren't doing their fucking jobs. Well, how can they do their fucking jobs if you won't help them?
Yeah. And it's more to it. It's a little bit more to it than that, but you hit the nail on the head there. And before we kind of move on from that, because before we move on from that,
I need more weed.
I definitely want to sit there and I want to say, that in order for things to get better, it's a collaborating effort. It's not just going to be it's not just going to be, just one person, it's not just going to be the police reforming that's going to change it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The change has to come from within.
A community effort, yeah.
Yeah, the change has to be just as much of a community effort as much as it is with police reform. There needs to be community and police reform, not just police reform. Like, for example, Trump made racists brave. I'm like, Biden became president-elect, and then 2 weeks later, Murdoch, Minnesota announced an all-white church. So, Trump not getting elected...
There's still a ways to go.
Yeah, so just because Trump just got voted out of office doesn't mean racism magically goes away. Right.
Well, I think this is the three of us. I think Sue's MIA, so if you want, we got 155. We can probably do 5 more minutes, because we're kind of like, first down, but
Yeah, but
I still feel like I wish Al was here and Elliot and Carlton, so it's just three of us, and
Hey, but you know what? We talked about a sensitive topic, a couple of sensitive topics today that a lot of people would definitely have strong reviews on.
We definitely had good 2 hours. I just feel like it's like not much more. I wish we had the rest of the gang here. Yeah, like I said, it's no problem. You and Salena doing it together, but we're kind of talking about broad. There's so many news articles I want to pull up right now, but I love hearing like Al's feedback, Elliot's feedback. Like I was showing Salena earlier, this girl just fucking died. I'll go into this later, but like basically, this 10-year-old fucking kid just died doing a TikTok challenge. And I check my phone just blew up on Twitter. I keep getting a bunch of links on fucking Twitter. I keep saying people, this is why a 10-year-old does not need a smartphone.
Doesn't need an iPad.
Or a TikTok account. And my 13
or at least childproof it.
But I still want to get Al and Elliot and Carl's opinion. And even Susan. Like I said, my 13-year-old does not have a fucking Facebook. I do not want my 13-year-old having a Facebook or a Twitter or a fucking TikTok. A 10-year-old girl has just fucking died because of TikTok. Yeah. And people can say like, all day, well, social media. And I'm like, no, but I want to hear more feedback than just us right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to ask just a couple of questions because we had kind of a balanced crew tonight. So I wanted to ask questions about, why is it that men are viewed as such heretics?
Disney.
Like we're literally viewed as heretics.
I think because overall, like in our species, men ruled so much through an iron fist and the hierarchy and stuff for so long that women are trying to kind of like get back. But I'm like, there's a way of making things even, but like the problem is it's not being evened out. It's being overpowered. It's like there's a way to give yourselves equality and feminism, but you can do it without tearing down all fucking males.
Well, that's the flaw in feminism.
Current feminism.
It's just the thing is like men overpowered women and like took away power from women, and women just try to take power away back from men. But there's no way, like taking power away from somebody doesn't make you any more powerful than a person. It doesn't make you more than a powerful. It just makes that person like.
Yeah, and the thing is, and this is the problem we have. It's like most people want equality, but these dour feminists, they want superiority. That's the fucking problem. It's not equality, it's superiority. It's
just some feminists. Because I honestly, personally don't see that. My problem with feminism isn't really like the attack on men. From what I've really experienced, like the more modern way feminism is that it's trying to be more inclusive. You know what I mean? Like feminism is really more not only sticking up for women, but also sticking up for men and letting like men be men, and also changing what it means to be a man as well. And it's really more feminism. I feel like it's trying to be more inclusive and stuff. From what I have been witnessing, my problem is really more women attacking women in the feminist community.
Oh yeah, that's big.
Is really more my problem.
I'm the exact opposite with that though. Because where I see it more, I'm seeing it as, men aren't men are being treated as if they're like less than women now, rather than being treated as like it's an equality thing. And like that goes with pretty much anything. Is like, now, granted, I would identify myself as a feminist, but like along the equality lines, like men and women should be treated equal. Like a woman should have her own opinion, a man should have his own opinion. They don't have to agree, but at least like if everyone like is agreeing on the idea of, you know, like I know Chris gets pissed off when I do this, like take Game of Thrones as an example. Like the whole point to it is through the books, at least, they want it to be equal. Like one of my favorite characters from the books is I'm not sure how well you know
I love Daenerys. I only read the first book and only Daenerys part.
But like one of her ancestor Rhaenyra, she was princess to the king at that time. She was her father's only child. He made her his heir. He's like, you know what? This is my only kid. She's going to take on our family. Like, she's going to be the next ruler. Her stepmother, she had 3 sons after she was born. And she was insistently saying, she's like, okay, well, I gave you sons. Now they're going to be your heirs. And he's like, no, they're not. Like, I said it flat out. She is my heir. When I die, she is going to rule this land. Like, she is going to be your queen. Like, it's not about the fact that I have, like, 3 new sons and a new daughter. No, she is my oldest child. She is going to take over.
Yeah.
And, like, the whole point to, like, their story was when he died, through trickery and, like, being, like, traitors and shit to the crown, her brother stole the crown from her, and then the Dance of the Dragons happened. Yeah. And the Dance of the Dragons was this whole thing where, like, dragons fought dragons, Targaryens fought Targaryens. Like, it destroyed their country because there were a ton of people who were like, look, this was what he wanted. He wanted her to be queen. We're fighting for her because of the fact that it's wrong what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then another side that's saying, well, there was this, like, thing saying, like, no woman could rule. So he went against that. So, like, he is his oldest son, so now he should be next in line to be king. And there was so much miscommunication between the two of them that they thought each other enemies rather than, like, you know, thinking of, like, power sharing, like joint rule, like all this stuff that could have been, like, more beneficial towards the two of them.
Should have just married each other. They friggin'
what's the point of Game of Thrones?
Well,
Game
they were both also
anyway.
like they were already married.
Game of Thrones mimicked a lot of stuff in real life, where it's like you know, in real life and stuff too. Like, and Al talked about this, where it's like to keep the bloodlines fucking pure, you would have, like, you know, brothers marrying their sisters or having fucking kids with their siblings, because
that's like where the Targaryens like came from in the first place, was the fact that, like, they're saying, like, okay, brothers and sisters, like, marrying each other, and like you know, aunts and uncles marrying, like, their nieces and nephews and shit like that.
Did you ask a question? You always have the funniest questions.
Well,
it's been serious for a while.
No, I mean, I am gonna ask a question to Salena though.
Okay.
Does Chris really cry for 45 minutes?
No, he cries sometimes. He makes really funny expressions. It kind of startled me at first.
So he scared
hold on, what?
So he scared
No,
you.
I'm getting used to it. Sometimes his facial expressions look like someone who just made, like, a scientific discovery that, like, never happened before. Like, he just discovered.
So wait, he looks like Sheldon Cooper?
Like, his face is just so surprising and inquisitive. Like, oh my god, I just discovered Atlantis. Like,
hey, I mean, if there's a bunch of water, if it's like going into some waterfalls, then yeah, I guess he did discover Atlantis. But it's like,
I didn't mean to intend that pun, but I intend it now.
When you have a girl who wants to, like, actually have sex with you and she doesn't throw up afterwards, like, it's
oh my god,
not used to it. Like,
how many girls threw up afterwards?
Oh boy,
none of them.
100%.
Well,
let me stop.
None of them.
I mean, Christina doesn't count. Like, that was bestiality.
I think with Christina, he puked. Let me stop.
I think he puked. I think he puked after having sex with her. That's why. That was. You know what? That would explain why. When I was there, you just disappeared for 20 minutes, and then you came out and you just looked sickly. That explains it. You really threw up after having sex with her. I probably would too.
Like, you're neither confirming or denying anything without clearance from the Secretary of State, aren't you?
Boy.
Dude, he told me the worst story. Like, oh my God, I literally want to gag just talking about it. But he told me the worst story how him and his ex are like fiddling around. And I guess she had like a week-old tampon in there that she forgot about.
Ew.
And so
God, I'm not lying about that.
She had to like pull it out, and it was like the most putrid smell, and it looked brown. And like, brown, trigger warning. I definitely should have trigger warned you guys.
Wait, who?
But it disgusted me so much, and I'm like, dude, if these are the type of women,
we were going to get intimate after Christian was born. We were going to get intimate, and I noticed something wrong down there and stuff, and how did you forget that was inside of you? Like, I'm not a girl, obviously. I don't know what's like down there, but like, how do you have a tampon in for like past a week and you forgot it was in there?
Oh my God, I like.
Oh,
makes your mother hears.
I can't make this shit up.
Disgusting, right? Oh my God.
I'm horrified.
I'm telling you now, the smell that came out of that hole, boy.
That was just disgusting. I don't know how that ever happens to anybody. I like personally don't like tampons. I'm a pad gal.
But it's just funny, like, you would think I'm making this shit up. I'm not, trust me. Like,
she's still got
like,
that
I know,
look
just
on her
mad,
face.
just
look at her.
Pensive
she's still
silence. Like, damn, I'm perplexed right now.
She's just looking like oh damn. You see, your mom's looking
My eye is like twitching from that. Damn.
Yeah.
Your mom's about to stroke out with that beer in her hand. Look at her face. She's like,
yeah. I've got so many fucking more. I won't
know how to pick them.
I really do. Like, what the thing?
Well, at least you picked right this time.
I mean, I'm truthful.
Thanks to Will, though.
I'm not lying about this shit. So
I'm gonna need you guys to relax, okay? I am not a matchmaker, okay? I am not Dr. Phil. I'm gonna need you guys to stop making it. You women need to stop looking at me like I'm adultfriendfinder.com, all right? You women need to relax with this shit, all right?
Yeah, it's like
just because I know a lot of girls doesn't mean I play matchmaker.
It's like Junior. He's got fucking so much advice from a certain individual. Like
No, I did not get enough advice from that individual, so stop mentioning him because he didn't say anything smart. Because he's not smart. So he didn't say anything smart.
Who?
I'm talking about my dad.
His father.
Okay, he didn't say anything smart when it comes to
his dad
women.
was a coxman.
No, he was not a coxman at all whatsoever. Especially not the thing that he's with right now. Like, that is a legitimate thing. That's not a person. That is a thing with a vagina.
Wait, is he still with the Velociraptor?
Yes. And you can see her ribs, like,
oh God,
yeah, like you can just see her fucking ribs, like you look like a fucking meth addict.
You look like a McRib.
Doesn't she have like 3 like teeth in her mouth or something?
Oh,
yeah.
Great.
Oh, if she still has those 3, I'd be surprised. But here's
like
what kills me. But when you try to have advice on women when you're picking up things like that, it's just like you just lose all respect and credibility. Like, you can't talk to me about women when you like that's like Mark. That's like Mark coming up to you talking to you about women. Like, what the fuck is he gonna talk about women for? He's 40 years old and still haven't touched a fucking titty. Like, how is he gonna even talk to you about women?
Virgin.
Yeah.
Did I meet Mark?
No, you didn't meet him yet. Trust me, when you meet him, your life will change. And I don't know if it's going to be for the better, but I can tell you right now, your life will definitely change. Like, you will definitely have a brighter outlook on life, because no matter what's going on in your life, you're not him.
You're not Mark.
You're not him. And I can tell you right now, I'm like, I mean, Jesus Christ, I'd rather get herpes and then fucking be Mark right now.
Mark.
So it's like, because I mean, I know he's on the verge of killing himself. Like, it's just we're there. Like, we're at that.
He needs
point.
A friend.
No, he has friends. He just thinks that he's bothering everybody, and he's not. He says one thing that he said that kills me.
Oh God!
Is that he said that he didn't take a shower in 4 days, and he can make a corpse puke. My thing is why are you proud of this?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're proud to make these statements, and it's just like he has emotional connections with girls on OnlyFans. Like, and it's just it bothers me a little bit. Like, I want to talk to Garfield. I call him Garfield because he's, orange, and, he's, he has a big belly. He's orange.
Eats lasagna all day.
Definitely. Like, definitely. Like, Stouffer's lasagna out the freezer. Like, the pre-prep meals.
Oh boy.
But it's just like, it just kills me. Like, it's just like when people, if he was to give Chris advice on women, you just couldn't see it. Right? You just couldn't see it. Certain people just should not be giving advice. Shut the hell up. Right? Yeah. Right? Like, it's just like dad giving me diet tips. Boy, you are 403 pounds. Mm-hmm. I'm going to need you to sit the fuck down. Okay? I haven't seen water in the fridge in like about 6 years. Like, I'm telling you, it's just like, if he's giving you diet tips, he just shouldn't fucking do it, right?
It's hypocritical.
It's exactly like I should not be giving you advice on being nice. I am not a nice person. Okay, I'm not. I should not be.
One thing I like about you though is you're respectable. Like, even though you do like say things in a very asshole way, it's respectable to an extent. Like, you definitely separate enough where you're not like, you bitch. You don't get like degrading about it.
No, I'm not. I don't get degrading about it, but I am an asshole, and I'm not gonna shy away from that. You know what I mean? I am very blunt. My concern for your feelings is zero. Like, it's just like,
and it's no one's responsibility.
Exactly. So it's just like, whatever goes on with anybody's life, I don't care. Personally, I don't care. If I support you, I support you. Like that. Like, your friend. When she wants to do OnlyFans. Hey, I support. Drop me the link. I'll support you. You know what I mean? Like, does that mean I'm not desperate for affection? I just don't give a fuck. Like, it's just like, maybe I just like having naked pictures.
Yeah, to an extent, it can be seen as a business transaction. I just feel like not enough women, like, play that card. Like, if you want that to be your profession, you should definitely, like, compartmentalize it enough, because all you're really doing is selling sex. And if you want it to be, like, a balance, then you need to, like, offer and display yourself in more than just like lingerie. Like, how about you wear a suit for once, bitch, and like, if you want me to buy your shit.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna say this right now before you go, because I already know what we're gonna say, but I'm gonna embarrass you right now on this podcast. I'm going to embarrass you. Okay, I will rue the day that you make a podcast with Salena. I'm going to rue the day.
Like, I swear I am on this podcast.
No, the OnlyFans. If he makes an OnlyFans with Salena, I will rue that day. Anyway. Like, it's gonna happen. All right?
Actually, I wasn't going there, but kind of close. Does everybody feel like? How do you feel about like legalized prostitution?
I feel like it should be, because I feel like it's the best way to keep sex workers safe.
That's what porn is.
I feel like no matter what, it's going to exist, whether it's illegal or legal. But like in Amsterdam, it's legalized there, and I feel like they're more protected that way because it's more, it's just more monitored and stuff.
Because like I'm always saying, because I talk to guys and I can't disagree with them. Guys would say, if I go out and call it male ego, call it egotistical. If I go out and I blow $100 on fucking dinner and movies and date and stuff, at the end I get a kiss. Some guys feel disappointed. Like, some guys feel the art owed sex. They feel like, then if I log on to so and so whatever or stop at a brothel, I spend $100 and I'm guaranteed fucking sex. It's a business transaction. I'm getting sex. She's getting fucking sex. We both know what we're getting into. They feel like that's more of like, a safe kind of environment. And like, it still feels kind of funny that, it's 2021. A lot of people are against like, that kind of transaction, but it's less like, well, I mean, can you really blame some guys for like dropping $200-300 fucking dollars on a date and not getting anything?
Okay,
I feel like that is manipulative. I feel like then maybe you need to be open about it. Like, hey, I'm spending $300-400 to have sex with you. But like, it's just manipulative if you're gonna expect that from a woman. You know what I mean?
I think that here's the thing that pisses me off. Right? We set the bar so low for sexual relations in this generation. We set the bar so low, like, and it's sickening. It's like, well, I spent money on her, so she needs to have sex with me.
Yeah, for me, at the end of the day, like, I'm not a prostitute. So, like, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on me. It's like, I have sex with you because I want to have sex with you because I like you. I'm not going to, like, have sex with you just because you took me out.
And why go to a restaurant that fancy? Like, if then make your intentions clear. That's the problem with the communication aspect. If you're going to take a girl out, it's the obliviousness / communication issues, right? Is when you take a woman out on a date, you need to have it in your brain to tell her what your objective is. Like, don't just sit there. That's me personally. I'm going to be very opinionated with this. Me, if I sit there and I say that I want to have sex with a girl, I'm going to be like, hey, listen to me carefully. All right. I want to take you to Red Lobster, and then I want to eat your ass. Like, that's me, right? I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say, hey, I want to take you to Red Lobster, and I just want to hang out and have a good time. No, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck is on my brain. I'm gonna say, listen, when we're done going to this Red Lobster, I want you to sit on my face. Are we doing this or not? Right? That's me. Like, that's me. I'm direct communication.
And if I say that, I get punched in the face.
That's not true at all. But here's the thing.
To some women, it's their cup of tea. To other women, it's their cup of poison.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I don't know balance. All right. I do not know balance. I am a type of person that will be direct and upfront about my sexual desires. I'm not going to sit here and play this fucking little ass toddler game of, oh, you're so cute and no, I want to hold your hand. Bitch, sit on my face. Like, I don't care about what the fuck is going on. Like, I don't care. I'm like, yo, listen. Can you, like, listen, after all this is all said and done, can you just suck my dick and I'll just go home? Like, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not sitting here playing this fucking game of coddling to your fucking feelings. If I have a sexual desire, I'm going to ask for it. Why can't and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to answer my own question. Why is it that we can't have this direct communication? I don't understand why.
Well, it's hard to trust people. Like, how Chris says back in high school, all the guys wanted to brag about how many blowjobs they get from girls. Okay, well, I don't really want to experiment with my sexuality with someone who wants to brag about it. Like, Chris is ready to text Al and the whole world that he got laid, and I'm like, that's nice. I don't mind that they know, but
here's my thing.
I feel like there wasn't enough a dialogue between us for him to have dialogue with other people yet.
but here's my thing though. If I'm direct with you about everything, you're already gonna know that shit's gonna stay between me and you. I'm not gonna go around and that's not my intention, because I don't care. Because me personally, I don't give a fuck what anybody else does with their life. I don't care who's hooking up with who. I only care about my dick. I don't care about somebody else's dick. I don't give a fuck about anybody else's dick. I care about mine. Is mine wet? No, I have a problem. Right? That's my mindset. And the thing is though, is that women, when you ask a woman for sex, right, without playing the fucking game of coddling to their feelings, right, you get looked at like you're a piece of shit. Like, oh, you think I'm cheap? Oh, you're just gonna ask for sex and expect it? I'm like, so if a guy spends $100 on you and he expects it, that's not as much of a problem as me just coming forward and asking for it?
Yeah.
You think I'm gonna be mad if you tell me no? Bitch, I got so many other women to ask. I don't give a fuck if you say no to me.
Yeah, and also it would save a lot of time. I would rather have you ask me up front, like, if you wanted booty, than to, like, try to waste my time and try to wine and dine me and, like, manipulate me into getting a one-night stand, thinking that you want something more when all you really wanted was to hook up.
Well, to me, honestly, I don't like one-night stands. I just like to eat ass. I just be like, hey, listen, can I eat your ass today, tomorrow, and the next day? Because I'm off. I'm off of work. I get off. I work from 3 to 11. Here's the thing. I work from 3 to 11. I could be at your house at 11:30 and gone by 12:15. I'm not even going to overstay my welcome. Just sit on my face for 45 minutes and let me go about my fucking business, all right? No, I don't think you're a hoe. No, I don't think that you're easy. No, I'm asking if you could sit on my face because I like your ass,
and
right?
That's just what you're into. That's you expressing your sexuality.
Yeah, but I'm not playing games. Like, it's like a game to be played. I'm like, yo, listen, the only games I'm playing is with a fucking controller in my hand. I'm not playing games with getting pussy. I'm not playing these games.
You want to be more honest and real and open, and that's how you're able to probably get all the ass in your mouth that you do.
I'm inspired to be like Junior.
No, you don't inspire to be like me, okay? I am an angry person. Stop.
You want to be like Junior? Okay, I'll help you out.
All right. Stop inspiring. Yeah, he wants to eat your ass. Let's just be honest with that. That's why he didn't answer the question at first.
There is
sorry.
Backpedaling. There's a difference between like a guy who just had a very nice night with a woman, and like, she's number like 55 this week on his checklist. Like, hey guys, I just banged chick number 15 this fucking week. There's that guy. Versus there's a guy who's like, hey guys, I haven't touched a woman in like 5 years now. Holy shit, it's like hitting the lottery and stuff. So there's bragging rights to be ego versus like there's bragging rights versus appreciation.
Yeah, well, like, he can whatever, be proud for being sexually.
So like, if I'm texting Big Al, for example, it's like, Al, holy shit, I found the most wonderful woman on fucking face of the earth. It's not me bragging of like, I just slept with somebody, it's like, holy shit, I found this amazing person. I had the best night of my life with her. That's more bragging of how great things were, not bragging like, you're just a fucking like a notch in my freaking belt. There is a difference.
Okay, Kristen, I have a question. I have a question. I have a really good question for you, Chris. Have you ever said thank you?
Multiple times.
After you like, has he said thank
during,
you?
After?
Also more.
Did he say thank you while he was stroking?
No, I mean like
thank you.
He said thank you when we were messaging each other before we even met. I don't know.
Because Susan asked this question. Susan's like, how the fuck did this happen? I'm like, what, Sue? I'm not sure myself.
So did he try to recite any lines in his poetry while he was stroking? Like, I'm just asking for a friend. Like, I'm asking for a friend. Like,
that friend would be Al.
I feel like Chris does things Ollie, like he takes his Prince Charming scenario a little bit too far. I mean this as a joke, obviously.
I think he was just really more like kind of just freaking out and kind of surprised.
And he was purring like a kitten.
Yeah, he purrs. Will was so funny when I said that. He was like, what the fuck is she talking about with you and purring? Like, he was mad confused. Like, what the fuck? It was mad funny.
He purrs when he strokes.
Junior told me, he's like, Chris, don't write this fucking girl poem. Poetry does not work on girls. So, I've never wrote...
No, I'm hanging him up. I've never wrote him, and I'm going to hang him up.
I've never wrote her a single poem.
So, wait, I'm curious. Like, granted, I'm his cousin and all, so I should not want to know this, but at the same point in time, I'm curious. Was it more of a...
It was louder.
Or was it a...
Yeah, like
so
that.
So he was growling.
He's like...
Jesus Christ. You really wasn't enjoying that water fountain, huh?
She's very flexible, so...
Well, no, that's why I really, glad that like I talked to Will, and why I'm glad like I called you about it, because you do have like a not give a fuck attitude and stuff.
Thank you for noticing.
And it was really funny when I was talking to him. Will accidentally hung up on me, and I was like, oh shit, Sir Blockington was like, fuck this. And but then he called me back and he was like, nah, my bad, carry on. And I was like, oh, I thought you Sir Blockington my ass, because I was getting like whatever. But I really like talking to you because like I knew that you knew Chris, and I knew that I could say like whatever I wanted, and no matter what, you would never like think any different from Chris, because that's like your best friend.
And I wouldn't think anything different of you either.
Yeah, and I just felt like you were like the best person to talk about to at that certain time. I don't know why, I just felt like you did give me good insight, because you do know Chris, and you do know me, and you do know your cousin.
I'm neutral, and I'm impartial.
And you were neutral, and I knew I could say anything and like talk shit, and it wouldn't fuck up like nobody's relationship.
Nope.
Other than me, like trying to rant to like my girlfriend or whatever, like
or
like annoy my mom with my problems.
Well,
but she wouldn't understand.
100%. Like this was okay. If we're going through timeline, this was after she came down here and made a total ass out of herself, which was hilarious. I literally just wrote her saying, hey, because like I told Junior, this fucking of me, Sue. When he brings down a girl who looks like her, I'm like, this. Within 5 seconds meeting her, I'm like, this chick is, again, she's a fucking 10. I'm after a couple after shots, I'm maybe a 2. So this is how I feel.
Shut up.
So the whole time she's sitting next to me, I'm thinking to myself, this chick is amazing looking, and as she keeps like destroying herself, I'm loving this karma. Like so. I wrote her saying, hey, listen, she left some stuff. She left a shirt down here, a bag down here, and like a key or something.
My house key. You could have came right in.
So so I just wrote.
Salena, the way you looked at Chris, he was like, yeah, you could have came in and you would have got raped.
Anyway, so I first wrote her saying, hey, what's going on? We had a nice night and stuff, but like you left your stuff at the house if you want this stuff. So of course, almost a month passes by, and in my head I'm thinking, okay, this is a very fucking good looking girl. Thinking, okay, why would some loser like this guy be fucking writing me for?
Well, I never seen it because we weren't friends at the time. Well, exactly. He never added me as a friend.
But during that month time period, I didn't know that. So I'm thinking, okay, because I told Junior this shit. Junior, Susan, my sister Jennifer, my sister Jamie, I've met women who were like, hey, Chris, we had a great time. I met you. You were fun, blah, blah. Add me on Facebook. Add them on fucking Facebook. They tell, whether it's fucking Sue, Jennifer, Jamie, why is your brother, cousin, someone add me on Facebook for? I'm like, you told me last night. Oh, I was drinking. I'm sorry. So I literally fucking just wrote her just saying, hey, look, your stuff. So like 2 weeks passed by. I told Junior, hey, when are you gonna talk to her again? Well, I'll talk to her soon. I'm like, well, can you tell her I'm not trying to keep her stuff, and I don't want her thinking I'm like stealing her shit, like, you know, her stuff. I would drop it off to her house. So a couple more weeks passed by, and Junior mentions a fucking podcast. So out of nowhere, I tag her, thinking, okay, maybe she's freaked out, but I'll say, hey, listen, anytime you want to talk on the podcast, you're more than welcome. So then next day, I get a friend request, thinking, why is she friend requesting me for? Okay. And I finally wrote her saying, hey, buddy, what's going on? I'm like, wrote you a month ago, but I'm like, thank you for, I put down, I didn't expect a friend request from you. And
no, I think I messaged you first because I didn't add you.
Well, you sent me a friend request.
Yeah, because I thought I would get a friend request from you, but I thought I made an ass of myself so bad that Chris was like, no, I don't want this girl back again. She's very obnoxious. And of course, so I was kind of embarrassed to add him as a friend at the time.
And it was opposite for me because it's like, I'm so shy and I'm so fucking low self-esteem. I'm thinking to myself, why would somebody
So basically, she thought she pissed you off.
Yes.
You were like, this girl's way out of my league.
Exactly.
And you were so nice to me on Will's comment that I was like, oh, he seemed really nice and friendly, so that's when I decided to add you. And as soon as you accepted my friend request, that's when your message popped up stating that I left stuff at your place, and that's when I messaged like, oh, I never seen this.
And then after that, then we started getting to talking. So she was at her family's house, and I was, you know, knowing me, like, you know, making small but kind of funny comments. Like, obviously I'm talking about how wonderful she fucking looks, and according to her, she's not used to a guy talking about her the way I do. And I'm like, well, I told the fucking Junior, like, I am joking, but I'm also being factual. The way I see her is like maybe not how most people see her, but like I look at this girl and think this girl is a fucking borderline model or something. Like, and she's not used to guys blowing this up. And we kept talking. Next, you know, we're talking every fucking day, and just like we started hanging out. I'm like, it was definitely, it's kind of like funny, but maybe not romantic, but maybe it is. Like, this was 100% like and Junior knows this, and Sue, you know this of me. I straight up talked to her like, hey, listen, I just want to give you your stuff back. I'm being kind to you. I wasn't talking to her trying to...
He was like, I'll even mail it so you don't ever have to come to even close contact with me. That's how he was acting.
Because I think I'm so fucking repulsive. Why would she want to be near me again? You know, because
you only think like that because of your past experiences with other women.
I thought he was a cutie. I thought you had like really pretty eyes.
It was 100%
so
like
to me.
And this is the person I am. I legit wrote to her like trying to be a good person to give her stuff back. I didn't write to her because I was trying to get into her fucking pants. Yeah. And that's why I said like this is what I tried making myself different. Everybody else was like, I said I just see a fucking very beautiful, good looking girl that I'm trying to be kind to. And like, and as the messages went by, it was like maybe she took it as fucking flirting. To me, it's like more like matter of fact. Like, how could she look in the fucking mirror and not see somebody who's amazing looking because she is amazing looking? Like,
see, and this brings up like something that like I tried to explain years ago, where you're concerned when it comes to like female friendships. Like, when he was working with me at Goodwill, like there were like multiple different freaking girls who worked there that I would become friends with them, and because of the fact that Chris is my cousin, obviously I hang out with Chris a lot, and Chris would, to some degree, become friends with these girls. Yeah. But, like, work friend with a couple of them, friend with a couple of them. So then, like, a couple of them who were, like, work friend for him, like, if he tried to become, like, friend, they'd be like, oh, well, your cousin's been hitting me up a lot. Like, and these are girls who, like, I'm actually, like, friend with, like, because, well, you know, like, there's that difference. And so, like, a friend of mine, two perfect examples, Jada and Sasha. Sasha, one day, because Sasha had, like, a ton of issues with, like, an ex, her kid's father, like, all this other stuff. Sasha's my age. Her daughter's, like, Christian's age, so she had it when she was young. Yeah. And all things considered, though, like, I'm very proud of her. Like, she's done really well for herself. Yeah. She does an amazing job as a mother. Like, I'm very proud of this girl. Like, she just joined, like, the Army, U.S. Army Reserves. Oh, wow. Yeah. And stuff. And, like, she, like, had a whole discussion with, like, her kid's father. She's like, I really want to do this, but I want to be there for, like, my daughter. So, like, well, our daughter. And she's like, but if I do this, like, it'll benefit her down the line. And stuff, and it will benefit me, and so on. But she's like, but I don't want to take her away from everything she knows. And like his wife now, like his wife has an amazing relationship with Sasha's daughter, and she was immediately the first one to say, do what you need to do, we've got her.
Yeah.
And shit. So, like, she's doing what she needs to do to, like, better herself, better her kid, and do whatever. But at the time, like, when we were working with her at Goodwill, her and I had, like, a ton of conversations about different shit where the stepmother's concerned, the father's concerned, she's concerned, her daughter, like, their whole family and whatever. And, like, I think I remember, like, saying to Chris, I'm like, yo, this poor girl, like, goes through, like, all this different bullshit. And it's like, she doesn't even, like, want a relationship with a guy right now because her main focus is, I have a kid, I need to raise her, like, I'm trying to make her the best person that she can be. And, like, him, on the other hand, he would take her, and he's that type of father where he's taking her, but his wife's the one doing all the time. Spending all the time with her.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing nothing. Like, he's working every time he has to have her. Like, they literally split it up where she has her 1 week, he has her another week. She has her 1 week, he has her another week. Because she's like, you know, I want her to be able to be with both of us.
Yeah.
But he would constantly be working and not spending any freaking time with his kid.
That sucks.
But then, like, his fiance, she's spending all the time with the kid. And, like, developing this relationship with her, wanting to, like, have, like, this mother-daughter relationship with her. And for her, she's like, I'm not jealous of her. Like, she can have him. She's like, but that's my kid.
Yeah, she kind of has two mothers. That's kind of like how I grew up with, because I had a stepfather who raised me since I was 3, and even though I called him Rob, he was still a father figure. Like, he took care of me just as much as,
so like you were saying, so
not
it's like
more than my real dad.
Girls at fucking at work, I never talked to them like I was trying to get into their fucking pants. I legit tried being a good person, a friendly fucking person.
That's where I'm getting at with the Sasha situation. So Sasha, I, like, came back and I, like, Chris, for being my cousin, he's one of my best friends. So I'm telling Chris all of the stuff that she's going through, and I'm like, you know, I really feel bad for her because, like, you know, if I were in her situation, I'd probably feel the same way. Like, you're trying to steal my child from me. And whatever. So Chris being like, okay, well, you know, we're friends, so let me message her. So Chris messages her, but Chris does not know how to speak to women.
Oh, God, what did you say?
Chris does not know how to speak to women.
Probably like dumb shit.
The next day, Sasha's messaging me. Oh my fucking God, what did you tell your cousin?
Yeah, boy.
I'm like,
what?
What did I tell my cousin? And she's like, Susan, like, he's telling me all this different stuff, and, like, she's like, we'll talk when you get to work. And I'm like, okay, now I need to message Chris. So I message Chris, and I'm like, what did you say to Sasha? And he's like, nothing really out of the ordinary. He's like, I was just telling her, like, look, Susan said, like, some stuff is going on with you, and blah, blah, blah. Like, he didn't go into detail or anything, but, like, he's like, you know, I've always found you to be, like, a beautiful girl. Like, you know, you're whatever. He's like, watch 10 years down the road, you'll be married and I won't, and, like, I'll die alone, and so on and so forth. And he's like, because I'm always the bridesmaid and never the bride.
Sounds like me.
And so I get
Holy shit, Chris.
I get to
always the bridesmaids, never the bride.
I want to be a bridesmaid.
So I get to work and Sasha looks at me, she's like, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, what the fuck did he say? I'm like, show me these messages. And she shows it to me and she's like, he needs help. Like, what's wrong with him? And I'm like,
a lot.
Yeah, I find him very self-deprecating.
And, like, for her, it was more along the lines of, because, like, they'll talk, like, at work, but at the same point, like, they're not hanging out outside of work.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe we went to see a movie together, all three of us, at one point, but, like, not, like,
I remember back then, but I think it was just the point of, like, just amping her up, though, because,
like
most,
trying to make her
like,
feel
most,
better.
Yeah, I was trying to make her feel better, and, like, you know, it's, because it was just a fucking joke, maybe, because also, too, like, you know, we've had conversations.
It's one of those things of, like, you are trying, what you're doing, like, I see it as you're trying to be, like, a friend, you're trying to be supportive, you're trying to be, like, whatever, in your way. But if someone does not know your personality,
they think you're, like, coming on to them or something.
Exactly. And, like, that happened with another girl who is going to...
Oh, it happened more than once. Nice.
Oh, it's happened multiple times.
Jeez.
I'm
Damn,
sorry.
Chris.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
At a time. Chris and our friend Kristen So Chris sees Kristen as a little sister. He's like, she's cute, she's funny. He's like, she has the same freaking sense of humor as me. He's like, so, but like, she's like way younger. Like, she's younger than you and I. And so on. And Chris is like, I like younger girls, but I'm not going to go that young. No. First off.
Oh, how young is she?
I have limits.
Like how old are you again, Salena? 26. Yeah, I think she's like 2 or 3 years younger than you.
Oh, wow.
Or something. But at the time, she was like 19, 20 years old.
Why do you say it like that?
And...
Oh, me?
Yeah.
But at the time, like, she's like 19, 20 years old. Yeah. And like, she had gone away because her family lives in New Hampshire. She was going to school here at St. Rose. So she's away at home for like Christmas vacation. He sent her a message saying, he was like messaging back and forth with her, like saying, Merry Christmas, I miss you. Work's not the same without you being here. Like, you're awesome. I think you're beautiful. Like, stop like trying to like date these guys who are just taking advantage of you. Because she would. Like,
it was.
But then that was like a declaration of love. Jesus Christ, dude.
Because sometimes, again, this is a problem with text messaging versus having conversations.
Yeah, the tone could be taken differently.
The problem where that was concerned, though, because of the fact that Kristen knew the type of person Chris is.
Yeah.
Like, Chris is like, this girl. She is like literally one of my best friends. Like, yeah, she is a beautiful girl, and so on. But Chris isn't trying to get into her pants.
Chris is the bachelor that doesn't do bachelor shit.
Yeah.
Jesus
That's
Christ,
why
man.
he doesn't get the rose.
That's if you describe Chris, that is how you describe Chris. Like you could sit here for an hour and a half and describe Chris.
Oh yeah.
But that is how Chris is described. The bachelor without doing bachelor
well, I
shit.
thought Chris was just really sweet, and he like swept me off my feet in a lot of ways.
So Sue, finish your story.
But like
Jesus Christ, you ain't even gonna acknowledge that?
Because I want to hear more I want to hear how horrible I am. That's why.
No, but here's the thing that's effed up about this situation, though, where Kristen was concerned. Being the fact that she knew how he was to begin with, like, she knew he was not attracted to her in that way. Like, he saw her as, like, he'd see Jamie Jenner Kaya. Yeah. Like, so she came back to work. She's showing all of, like, their whole, like, message thread to the assistant manager. And she's like...
Oh, gee, thanks. Fucking bitch.
She's like, what do I do? Because he, like, is pretty much professing his love to me. And, like, I feel highly uncomfortable by that.
Wow.
And so the assistant manager went to the manager and was like, well, apparently, like, Chris is trying to hit on her and she feels highly uncomfortable and so on and so forth. I walk over. First, the assistant manager is like, I'm going to... Like, does your cousin want your balls ripped off? And I'm like, what? And, like, our manager's like, what the fuck is he thinking? And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
So then they explain to me, I'm like, y'all do realize he's not attracted to her, right? And they're like, oh, no, he's attracted to her. And I'm like, no, he's not. Like, I know, like, who he's attracted to here. Him and I actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
You guys are going off the fact that, like, some stupid little twat bag is sitting there
reading into
say,
stuff that's not
it was
really
definitely
there.
fuck, like Susan said, the number one, like, if I say, like, hey, I miss you being at fucking work as a friend, I do miss you being at work as a friend. Also, if I say, like, it sucks, like, as someone as I'm viewing as a little sister, I hate seeing somebody I care about that I thought was a fucking mutual friend. I'm seeing you go through guy after guy after guy after guy after guy. They treat you like total fucking shit. And Susan knows this too. She was, blonde fucking hair, blue eyes, nice little fucking, like, tone little freaking body. I'm not saying she's a fucking model, but she was a very fucking cute. Definitely one of them girls where it's like, she could walk into
like
fucking...
a girl next door.
Well, she could fucking walk into Cumbies and get a free coffee, buy a big fucking smile, and flirt with fucking guys. She was she's not model hot, but she's very fucking cute. I thought she's, very attractive, but, like, I liked her raunchy sense of fucking guy humor. So I'd say I also seen her fucking cry multiple times after, like, guy A, B, C, D, and E would keep fucking treating her like shit. And I'm like, why do you're a good fucking person. You're not ugly by any fucking means. Why do you keep dating guys that treat you like fucking shit? And I would say to her, I think you're beautiful. Now I'm telling her, I think she's beautiful as I think Susan's beautiful, as my sister Jamie's beautiful, as my sister Kai is beautiful. I'm not trying to fuck any of my sisters or my cousin. I would never, I joke calling Susan. Exactly, but no,
You're
but like,
so mean.
But obviously, like, I would, I tell Susan, all my siblings and shit too. Like, I think they're beautiful because I'm not gonna like. I joke saying like, fucking Susan's fat or Jen's fucking fat, but like, obviously, that's joking, fucking Chris. Me being serious. If I watch fucking Jen go through like 20 guys in a week, I'd say, Jen, as your older brother, you are fucking beautiful. You are funny. You are fantastic. Stop letting guys treat you like fucking shit. That's how it was. And maybe this was a text message fucking problem. I should have said it in fucking person. But I was telling Kristen, you are like a little sister because you're like 16 fucking years younger than me. You are like a little sister. Again, this is a fucking problem. I'm being a platonic friend. I'm telling you you're beautiful because you are beautiful. You are a good person. I'm not trying to fuck you. And this is why my insecurity problems. There are guys out there that can treat you well, that can call you beautiful. Not all of us are trying to fuck you. Some of us actually are good fucking people. Yeah. And because she dates scumbag, when a nice guy comes along, even a nice guy who's not trying to fuck her, something's wrong with him. And I'm like, and you wonder why guys like me, we are so regressed and we're so fucking self-deprecating for it, because when we even are nice to you, even when we're not even trying to fuck you, you still go to the assistant manager and the manager and treat us like fucking shit.
Perverts. They see perversion in just simple kindness.
Like what happened to calling a woman beautiful and that being a compliment? I called you beautiful and you think I'm trying to fuck you because I called you beautiful? I'm sorry. I should have called you fat and ugly and horrible then, right?
That's the thing. She was taken seriously because like you're saying that she's beautiful. Me and like 3 other girls at the job were not taken as seriously when some dude like literally like said to me, I have the feeling that we're just gonna fuck.
Oh my god, that is so inappropriate.
I had no whatever towards this dude. Like, he literally was making like inappropriate comments to every freaking girl.
Yeah.
And none of us were taken seriously, and they thought like we were just ganging up trying to get him fired.
And this is what like Junior was saying earlier about like, if Junior tells a fucking girl, hey, listen, I just want to fucking eat your ass, I want to go out there. Nothing happens,
Well, some girls would be like pervert, and some girls would be like, how much? Ugh.
Yeah. But then when the fucking nice guy comes along who's trying to fucking boost you up and give you compliments and say what a wonderful person you are, I'm the piece of shit.
Exactly.
Versus any guy who says, hey, listen, you want to suck my dick? I don't worry about that. He's just a pervert, or we're not. So I said, being the nice fucking guy is only gotten me in trouble.
But, like, here's the thing that's effed up about that whole situation, though, too, and this is why, like, there were times where I would get highly pissed off at her. Kristen, in particular, because it's like, she went to them and did that, but if we, like, went out to dinner or something afterwards, like, and Chris paid, like, she didn't have a care in the world about it. Or Chris would be like, hey, like, I'm gonna go get some food, do you want anything? And not even think twice.
Yeah.
Or if he brought food in of his own and he's like, here, have some, she'd eat it all on him.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but you're going to sit there and bitch and moan and groan because he said you're beautiful?
Yeah. And at the time I didn't know this, but that's the thing. If I went out and got a fucking pizza, whether it's you, Junior, or fuck Susan, if I'm sharing pizza with Susan, it's my cousin.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fuck my cousin and shit too. When I was doing these nice things for this person, this is the fucking problem. I was doing these nice things as this person as like somebody I care about, not somebody I'm trying to sleep with. Like Sue said, if I wanted to sleep with you, I could be more aggressive or more vocal about that. And I've told this was multiple times over the course of like a 2-year friendship. Yeah. I love you like a little sister. That's it. Like I said, there are some guys out there that we are generally nice fucking people, and this is why. So
but that's the thing. A lifetime, I have seen what Chris does when Chris likes a girl. The poetry.
You love bomb. I told him that he loves bomb. Don't get me wrong, that's nice. That's exactly what I want. Like, I want a guy like that. But there's definitely it just has to be compartmentalized.
But that's the thing. The poetry, the cards, the gifts, like
exactly.
I've seen him like buy girls like t-shirts and like jewelry and like things from things to remember.
You bought girls t-shirts? What kind of t-shirt? Did it have like your picture on it?
No.
With a heart around it?
It was
I want one.
It was the lesbian, and I think it was something from like In This Moment or something.
I think it's just something like, like, hey guys, where's the pussy or some shit? Like, or the pussy's for dinner.
I'm hungry. Where's the pussy?
Well, I haven't told you that, lady. You and Junior know this.
Can you pour this someone here?
When I was friends with her, we were 100% just fucking friends. Again, I was friends with the person.
She's the one who went
yes, she's the one who fucks our main advances towards. And anyway,
I know because it was me. That's said it to.
That's a 3-hour fucking podcast in itself.
Yeah, I feel like I have that problem with being like too nice too. Where like if you're too nice to a guy, they think you're flirting. Where it's just like I'm just being polite,
but like,
a decent human being, and now
and Junior knows this. We talked about
you
this.
Think I'm flirting?
But that was the difference between how he was towards her, towards 2 other girls that were there. His former girlfriend, probably how he is towards you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's going to do like things that mean something.
Yeah.
This girl, it's like, okay, we're going and we're trying to help you like jumpstart your car.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going like for your birthday, he wants to bring you to Taco Bell breakfast.
Yeah.
For like when we're getting out of work and we're all like starving because like, you know, we're all like broke as hell and we didn't, and like we're busting our ass and none of us took a freaking break. Let's go to freaking Denny's.
Right.
But he's not like writing her poetry. He's not like buying her jewelry. He's not buying her things from Things Remember. He's not like doing all the shit that he does when he like actually likes a girl.
I'm sorry if you feel comfortable enough like eating off of somebody and having them buying you food and you eating their food and doing all that. I'm pretty sure you can take a freaking compliment. So it's pretty much
and that's my problem though. I do a lot of things for people because like my kindness, a lot of times I can't, whether it's Junior, anybody, I just like being good to people. And unfortunately nowadays...
Yeah, that's what I love about you. You're a sharer. And that's like me too. Like I love sharing. Like I love cooking for people and like...
Oh yeah, since you guys have been together, like you've come over and you've cooked here like a million times.
I love it. And you guys are just
Granted,
so like...
no one's a vegan, but...
I am 100% aggressive. I am 100% aggressive. When it comes to anything that I want from a woman, I am 100% aggressive. Like I don't care. I will ask. Like me, it's like if I want friendship, I'm like, hey, you want to hang out? Go grab a bite to eat? Let's catch up. Let's do something. Yeah. Like, let's go have some fun. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like... And then I follow up the next thing. I'll be like, just to let you know, no, I don't want to fuck. Well, but I just want to hang out. Like, I let it be known. Again, direct communication. Yeah. I am 100% direct. And I'm about that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, when it comes to the whole sexual thing, I'm even worse.
Fun fact, where he's concerned, like, now, obviously, I don't want Junior. Junior doesn't want me. Whatsoever, like never would happen, never is gonna happen. It's almost
like family.
It's like
you never know.
Yeah,
it would be weird. It would be.
It never would
for both of them.
But so I think it was last year for Valentine's Day or something. Like Cumberland Farms had like roses or some shit.
Yeah.
In their freaking like window and shit. And we had just Chris had picked me up. Then we went and picked up Junior. And Junior was sitting there and he was bitching about like his day and shit. And I'm like, we get into the freaking like Cumberland Farms because Chris wanted to grab like a coffee or something. And I see the roses in the window. And I'm like, let me just see. Hey, Junior, can you buy me like a dozen roses? And he's like, yeah.
Aww.
It's like, it's not him like being romantic. It's him being like
a friend.
Like, yeah, you just listened to me bitch about inconvenient fat people for like the past half hour. So here's something.
Here's like, a dozen roses.
Or like Elliot with the freaking 2 bottles of wine.
Well, it's a prime example, regardless of the fact that Junior and Susan are like family, but still that's a perfect example of like a
friendship.
A mature platonic relationship.
Exactly, you know, and it's very fucking rare and shit. So.
It is rare, and that's like one thing that I'm starting to learn about, and it's kind of
sad,
scary. Yeah,
it's sad. Scary. It's nothing scary about it. It's just flat out sad.
But also, like, you know,
it's like in return, like if Junior said to me, he's like, "Hey, like I'm running low on money or something, and like I need something to eat." I'll be like, "Okay, I got you. Like where you want to get food from?"
Yeah.
In return.
But also, like you're saying, Sue, like on a side note and stuff too, like it's like. If someone has different girlfriends, like, you know, you can say, like, I've had previous fucking girls in the past. I've even shown her, like, you know, like when Mary was in rehab, I showed her the poem that I fucking wrote Mary. So it's like, there may be similarities between, like, you know, a person and their exes, but also there's things that you may do for each person that makes them, like, stand
in a different
out. Like,
way, though.
Exactly. What's like, you know, I may write one girl, like, in 1 year, one poem. It's like, to show her she's fucking special. Then another girl comes along and she blows your fucking world away. So you know what? Then I can write 4 fucking poems in a month. Like, I've never done that before. Or it could be some things like, you know, I was with a girl for like a year.
But like, that's why, like, you know, certain girls, like, you would go to things remembered and like it's something like engraved. Some girls you would buy them like jewelry. Some girls you would write the poetry.
Yeah, but
and some girls you eat ass. So there's different ways.
Some girls you turn into Delilah.
Some girls you get a happy meal out of it.
There's certain ways of showing you fucking care. But like I even said, like, you know, even like, you know, I had a child with somebody. I was with this girl. I had an apartment with her. I lived with her, and even fucking like a 3 or 4 week time period. There's things I've done with her that like I didn't even do with Christina, and like that's my way of showing like, listen, just because I had a kid with somebody, like
that
the point,
doesn't mean,
you know, it's like I tried doing things that like, you know, showing you like every relationship should be different. Like there may be some similarities, like kindness and stuff too, but there's also things that like I could say, hey, listen, I've only done these things with you to show you that you
depressive
are important
nicknames,
to me, you know.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
like
Chris.
sloth. I've never been called sloth, but I really feel the love in that one.
You're a sloth. Christina was a moose. Mary was a chimp.
All right. So, Chris, here's another way to show your love and appreciation. Stop laughing.
You better not say eating ass.
I mean, I'm drunk enough.
Listen, you need to show your love and appreciation by just sliding your tongue right up there to that other hole.
I'm too sober for this.
He's being your hype man, Chris.
Last week I was too drunk. This week I'm too sober.
Listen, it's not my fault. I'm just saying, eating ass is a sign of affection.
Well, my thing with relationships, I feel like, you know, passing that eating ass montage.
I'm making real love, like, you know, Chris.
The fact that she's so calm about it makes me laugh even more.
Yeah, she just doesn't care.
I need something as simple like, honey, I've got 5 shots of Jack in me, and put that strap on up.
I've seen so much absurd stuff that I just can't even like react to it anymore. But no, anyway, I feel like because we're speaking about Yeah, he actually is. We talked about it.
Christ!
I'm just kidding.
Or is she? Walk around hobbling like Susan. Chris, what happened to you? Don't worry about it.
I didn't hobble.
I'm saying me. Like, you should walk upstairs like, ow, ow, ow. Like.
No, me and Chris, we actually went into a sex store for the first. Well, it was my first time in the sex store. I'm pretty sure it wasn't his first time in a sex store. I don't know if he like orders his fleshlights or just goes in person, or you know.
I think he got a mold. Yeah, I think he got a mold of you, and then he went into the sex shop and got one. You might want to check his cabinet.
No, it was really funny. He was just like, I just want to clone you. Sometimes maybe get a molding of your innards and get my own fleshlight of you. And I'm like, that's not really funny and stuff. And then I'm cleaning his like, you know, tables and stuff, and I see a fucking piece of paper of like Salena chart, and it's just like eyes, length of like it's all these different measurements. And I'm just like, you fucking asshole. Like, are you serious? Are you real? Yeah. And I'm like, are you really like thinking about this, or was this is this not a joke? And he's like, no. This was supposed to be like a romantic joke. I was supposed to play in you. I was going to pretend I was a doctor. And
she ruined this entire fucking moment.
I totally took it the wrong way. I'm like, he's really thinking about it.
She's got her ass on my measuring tape right now.
Wait. So, Salena, I got a question.
I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Here's the question. So, if he wanted to get a molding of you, right? And, you know, like he wanted to get a fleshlight, you know, just so he can, you know, have that when you're not around.
He wants a pocket pussy.
At least he has a pocket pussy with pretty much your shape, right? So
yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to do it for my own personal reasons as well. I don't know.
The question comes down to, what if the pocket pussy feels too good? Like,
that's like
you need to
relax. Where like they do the molding of their like freaking penises, and they're selling them as freaking like dildos.
Oh yeah, what movie did we? Neighbors. Yeah, I seen that. It was hilarious. But no, I mean with women, we have tons of variety and stuff when it comes to our toy
Why
selection.
Are you making that face?
So, dude, I went into the sex store. It was really funny because I never really been in one. So I'm looking at all the products, all the different brands of the same type of toys.
You see fucking dildos like this, and you're like,
it's great. Shit. And then the whole time we had to have been in there for maybe at least a half hour.
Yeah. She was browsing like.
I loved it. It was great. I was like, wow, I cannot believe.
I don't think I've ever been in one.
I can't believe there's just so much variety, and it was just pretty interesting.
The batteries.
I'm sorry, Selena, but I can just picture his face.
I know he was really shy. He wasn't even close to me.
We were friendship. Let's go to the sex store.
Okay.
You see, the batteries last longer than I do. That's a problem.
And meanwhile, while we're in there, two guys walk in. They're both older men, and it was just hilarious seeing one guy walks in. He just knew exactly what he wanted. He just went in, turned, went exactly to whatever he wanted, checked out, and then I'm just like, oh my god, he has this store down to the back of his hand if he knew exactly where to go. But yeah, it was awesome. We spent like $100-something there on stuff, on products, and
They ain't planning on using that tonight, huh? That's why you're drinking a little bit.
Well, no, I mean it's pretty friggin' awesome. I didn't know there was so much selection until now.
Really?
I'm like a simple girl. I didn't think there's. I don't know.
You never read 50 Shades of Grey?
No.
Anyway,
I watched 50 Shades of Grey, but I never read it.
Read it. It's so much more.
But yeah, my thing also about relationships is I kind of blame Disney. Too. A lot of it because I used to love watching Disney as a kid, and Disney really teaches you trauma-based love, even romance in general. A lot of romantic movies, even with Notebook, it like teaches you trauma-based love, where it's just like instant connection and stuff is supposed to like last forever, when it's just like instant connection is technically supposed to lead to curiosity when it comes from a healthy perspective. You just don't like get right into it. But at the same time, I just feel like I'm just trying to do what Princess Ariel and Princess Jasmine wanted me to do by being like this hopeless romantic person.
Find a whole new world.
Yeah, but that whole new world is really just trauma.
Or be part of that world.
See, I love the Hunchback of Notre Dame because I feel like Quasimodo.
Shut the hell up.
Honestly, that was my favorite Disney movie. I had a Quasimodo puppet.
God.
I used
that explains so much.
She's fucking Hunchback.
I look at this and I think about Pocahontas minus the whole war and shit.
I'm the Esmeralda to your Quasimodo.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
What? I said it was Pocahontas without the war.
God. Anyway.
It's true. He do look like him a little bit.
I loved Quasimodo and I loved Winnie the Pooh as a kid.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh's the shit. Yo, he's hood. He goes into that beehive. He don't give a fuck. He's getting his honey.
He about right. That life.
You gonna get that sweetness. Come here. See, I'm Winnie the Pooh. He's like my spirit animal.
He's like I'm Winnie the Pooh with the ass.
Facts. See, he get that honey and I get that ass.
I'm glad to elaborate to Selena more and more of like, you know, overall, like why a lot of guys out there and stuff too, we are more like, you know, some of us anyway, we're more like fucking slow and stuff, and we're kind of like more hesitant to be kind and stuff, because even when we are kind and our intentions are fucking 100% pure, we can still get labeled as like some like asshole or something like else. It's like, you know, and that's like when Junior is so fucking direct, where it's just like I admire it to be like that, because some people may call him a certain way, but like overall though, like a lot of people, a lot of girls respect that, because it's like I feel like overall, maybe except for one exception, the nice guy thing just doesn't. I told her in this podcast, Al said this many times, Junior said this, Sue, my own fucking sister, my own fucking mother. It's like, your problem is you are too kind to these fucking females. It's like, you are too kind overall. And Al said, he's like, you should have been fucking born in the 1940s, dude, 1950s, because the way, and Junior said this, the current generation and shit, the way you are towards these fucking women, it's not what they like nowadays.
And they don't appreciate it.
Because it's even when Molly was here, like, you know, we made the fuck joke with Molly. Molly was breaking down like a guy like me, how I'm like the typical what they look for in women, and I'm like, okay, Molly, so break down your past 10 fucking boyfriends, you know, and they're the total polar opposite of what someone like me or Junior brings to the fucking table.
Well, because it's more or less like, you're the one that they want to like settle down with and marry. But the problem is they are more attracted to the bad boy, the one who's
they're not out of their whole face.
They want the romantic aspect, because you are like a very romantic person, and like usually it's really hard to like, you know, make a guy settle down with you sometimes for a lot of women. So I don't know.
And the most thing I've been told is, fuck, I'm boring.
Well, also, you know, I feel like beauty privilege is a thing. You know what I mean? If a really pretty girl was in your face and stuff and giving you compliments, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But if a freaking like creep, like, you know, someone who, you know, you would call Princess Fiona in your eyes was being all nice and all up on you, you'd be like, oh my fucking God, leave me alone. Vice versa, like if a cute guy was looking at you and smiling at you, you'd be flattered, like, oh, he's really cute. But if like a creepy guy you thought was creepy, you'd be like, oh, look away.
To piggyback off that, let's go, like, you know, we'll kill some more time. Like, is anybody here, all three of you guys and stuff, I'll answer myself, but like, do you ever, Junior, fucking Susan, and even Salena, do you ever, like, I think would say, look at your, say for instance, Junior meet a girl, Susan fuck meets a guy or something, do you ever compare yourself to your spouses or whatever, your significant others, their exes, and how would that make you feel? Like, I'll go what's in this, like, you know, part of like why I wound up getting more feelings for the quote unquote fucking lesbian was that, you know, I felt like when someone kisses you and they say like, and their friend was here and Susan was here and Junior was here on my fucking birthday, and like, hey, listen, this person, you're the only guy, period, she is touched in like 20 fucking years. That makes you feel kind of fucking special. The fact like you are the person, you are the fucking exception. So like, I always fucking feel like, you know, if I meet a fucking girl and she looks and she all she does is fucking date guys that are fucking like Brad Pitt style, Chris Hemsworth fucking style and stuff too. She dates a certain high caliber fucking guy. If she was to fucking pick me now to be her current boyfriend, I'd feel like, holy fuck, I must be really good looking because all she does is fucking date good looking guys. Someone like my kid's mother, for example, she proved to me that she will literally fuck anyone as long as he's paying her enough fucking money. Oh, yeah. And I learned that after getting her fucking pregnant. I realized the fact that she would fuck anybody as long as he had enough fucking money in his bank account. That made me long term feel like fucking shit. So I do feel like everybody here, at some point, I feel like everybody you do compare yourself to your current girlfriend or boyfriend's exes, because you feel like, you know, if all she does is fuck guys who look exactly like me, I don't feel fucking special. I don't, you know, but if all she did was like, you know, date fucking pretty boys and now she's fucking me, maybe I am pretty boy. It's like,
absolutely not. I'm going to go be the first one to respond to this. Absolutely the hell not. I never compare myself to somebody else. Do you want to know why? Because that pussy mine. I don't give a fuck about the last person. Me personally, this is me. Again, I'm different. Okay. And before I answer your question completely, Salena, even if a cute girl was to compliment me, I'd still tell her, leave me alone. But anyway, like, so here's the thing, right? Like, what I don't understand, right? What I don't understand is it's just like, why do we do that? That's my question. I'm gonna answer your question with a question. Why do we do it? Because at the end of the day, if the girl chose you, nothing else matters. To me, I have tunnel vision. If a girl's gonna fuck with me, I'm fucking with her.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing around besides her past, nothing that ever fucking matters. I don't give a fuck if she fucked 70 guys before me. I don't give a shit. I'm number 71 and I ain't fucking up. Yeah. Like, that's me. That's my mindset. My mindset is, there's obviously something about me that she wants to fuck with me about, and I'm just gonna ride that fucking wave. And that's what, and me, it's like, okay, if something was to happen between us, maybe I might question, you know, what was going on in her past to make her feel like that.
Yeah.
But that's like within an argument situation. Like, if she argues with me over something that I find personally petty, I'm going to wonder why she's pissed off about that, because it could be her past relationships, and it could be exposing a pattern that she might see that isn't there. So that's when you do the investigative work of figuring out what happened in her past to make her feel like that. But that's the only time I'm ever going to even put a mind to her past, is when it brings up an argument about a pattern that she thinks she sees.
Yeah.
It's not, but when it comes to comparing myself to the next person, fuck the next person when you're fucking with that girl, because at the end of the day, he ain't shit, because he ain't here, he ain't fucking. So fuck the guy. Okay. That's my mindset.
Yeah, I have that perspective to an extent. And so I feel like I used to compare myself a lot more back then in the day, just because I was a younger and more insecure and a lot more egoic.
Yeah.
But, you know, as I got older, I just stopped caring about those things, just because I feel like if you're like the type of person to want to chase, like, you know, someone who looks better and stuff, then
it's artificial.
Yeah, then it's not going to work out. For one, but also, I don't know, I just feel like relationships are different. Like, relationships you had, like, young, like, even though, you know, it was different and naive. It's still like a different kind of love than you share now. Like, even though my first boyfriend in high school, even though I don't love him and stuff anymore, like, I still have love for him because just the time that, you know, we were together, just the love that I knew it was.
Yeah, it's that emotional attachment that you develop.
Like, evolve for me. Like, let's say, like, you know, if Chris did have, like, a really hot ex, you know, that I thought was hotter than me, like, yeah, it would bother me egoically to an extent, but in big picture sense, it wouldn't bother me because that's all it is. It's just ego. And like, me and Chris obviously have a connection. Our love would be different than whatever love he had with previous people, and vice versa. But yeah, sometimes it's hard, you know.
As long as you're riding that ED, that's the only thing that matters.
Oh my God, can we please not call that
I'm
ED?
calling it the ED, I'm sorry. But
it has a name.
Nah, but I hate that. Like, I honestly, that's one of my pet peeves. For any girl that I ever date, it's one of my pet peeves to compare herself to a girl that's why I don't talk about my exes with a new girl. I don't even talk about my exes at all. Why? Because it's that immediate comparison starts taking place. Well, I'm not going to do what he did, or I'm not going to do what she did, or we're not going to argue about the same things that we used to argue about, or I'm not going to see this pattern happening all over again. No, it's a fresh start.
It's just easy to get insecure. Sorry to cut you off, but it's just easy to get insecure when, like, you know, guys love and talk about women's bodies so much, you know? So, of course, it's going to make, like, any woman hyper analytical about their body when, like, they like a guy.
Well, here's the thing. If your body is my body, fuck another body. That's my mindset. Like, that's my mindset. I don't like, but the thing is that what ends up happening in a lot of these relationships, which also pisses me off, is the fact that there's so much comparison with the ex, because in a lot of relationships, especially in this generation, they still fuck with each other. They may not be together in a relationship, but they still fuck with each other. And that is a problem. You know what I mean? And they hide that shit so much.
But it's even more than, like, the ex. It's just, like, women in general, you know, it kind of what makes me insecure and feel some type of way just to have, like, you know, my boyfriend acknowledge another hot chick on the TV. Like, yeah, obviously she's beautiful. Obviously she's sexy, but it definitely doesn't feel good to see, like, another woman take away attention from your sexual interest. And I'm pretty sure vice versa. It wouldn't feel good for, like, you know, a woman to pine over another guy. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
It depends on how you look at it, because me personally, it's like if I'm watching Fast and Furious and some girl looks at Paul Walker, it's like, damn, I want to get at Paul Walker. Like, but I'm not going to think anything about it. Or even any celebrity that's alive. If my girl said, like, oh my God, he's so beautiful and stuff like that, I'm not going to start an argument.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely something that I'm evolving into and maturing into, because I'd rather have, you know, you be open about your interests.
Crush and, like, an actual, like, thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
A celebrity crush is nothing. I don't care about celebrity crushes.
It's not like you're actually going to meet the person.
I mean, there's always a possibility that could happen.
There's that possibility, but it's like a one in.
But it also doesn't feel good where it's just like, you know, you just shove tits and ass in my face, and, you know, I can't say no to that.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna go on Instagram. Like, if I'm hanging out with my girl, I'm not gonna go on Instagram and I'm gonna be like, yo, this girl got a fat ass and nice tits and stuff like that, and I'm gonna like her picture right in front of her. First of all, that's disrespectful as fuck. Oh, yeah. And second of all, it's like, then you're not appreciating your girl for who she is. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, I got her, but now I'm not going to appreciate the body that, you know, I adored so much before I got it. And a lot of dudes do that. You know what I mean? And same thing with women. Women sometimes do that with you know, they do that with some dick. Like, they be like, oh, well, I had this dick for so long, but
I need variety.
I want variety.
That's why we have toys.
Well, I was going to say, June, two things to answer your question. Like, what, bring us to Susan, because Susan mentioned this last week. She mentioned, like, how she's kind of done with her fucking fling and stuff. But, like, when I feel like people for the most part, everybody here at some point we do want recognition. We also want to feel special. I mean, at least for me anyway. Like, when any girl ever told me, like, you know, hey, listen, you're the first guy that, like, you know, made me feel special, or you're the first guy that made me feel comfortable, or you're the first guy, like, whenever someone says to you, like, hey, you're the only person who made me feel, or, like, when people say, like, you're the only person I've ever told this to, it does make you feel like, hey, listen, out of like the fucking whatever 50 boyfriends you had, if I'm the first one to do such and such, it makes you feel fucking unique. So like Sue went with this when she sees that like, you know, the guy she was having sex with, now when he like downgrades from her, and she says she's like, you know, even Sue's like, I don't feel like, you know, I'm a certain attractiveness, but like even I admit like, you know, this girl that now he's fucking and she's like so horribly looking, that kind of hurts your ego. It does. You know, it's like, and I've said this to my fucking self. I've dated fucking girls where it's just like, holy shit, like, you know, I think I look a certain way, like, you know, and when I see a fucking girl's ex and he looks just like total dog shit where the guy's fucking bald and missing teeth and stuff, I'm like, damn. But it's a hard balance where like I look at this dude, I'm like, damn, if you're just fucking these horribly disgusting looking fucking guys, then what does that say about me?
Well, that's the thing.
Like, I mean?
I've always been self-conscious. Like, I don't find myself attractive. I don't find myself
I think you are attractive. I think you downplay your attractiveness.
But here's the thing,
though. All of us do, though.
But
all four of us do.
But here is the thing, like, you know, most people get from their family to some degree. Like, Junior, I know you probably don't wear, like, your dad's concerned, of course. But, not even, like, I'm being serious. I'm, like, not even, like, trying to joke with it. But, like... Okay, your mom thinks you're, like, the most handsome guy on the face of the planet.
She's your mom.
Like, your dad thought the world of you. Like, other than, like, my dad, my mom, from time to time, she would be like, oh, there was this one moment where, like, you were, like, adorable. Half the other freaking time, it was like, oh, well, you're there. When it came to, like, family and shit. Mm-hmm. And, like, Chris knows, well, Chris probably forgets half of it. My mom passed when I was 12. I was raised by my grandmother.
Sorry.
Then my grandmother passed when I was 15, and I came to Chris's mom.
Now I'm stuck with her.
Yeah. Well, you were, like, the deciding factor for me for where the fuck I was going to live.
Oh, dear God, I forgot.
You forget everything.
It's half forgetting, it's half not caring. But
yeah.
Anyway.
So, but when you're a freaking kid and, like, you're being told, like, oh, you look like this aunt who looks like Shamu. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, you're not allowed to have, like, a normal freaking childhood or, like, anything along those lines. When you do finally have, like, certain little things where it's like, okay, now I feel this way, like, there's still people there saying, well, you only feel this way because you think you're better than us.
Yeah.
And shit. So, for me, I've never felt attractive because of shit like that.
Yeah, because they're, like, being fat-shamed or, like, whatever, slut-shamed.
No. Not even being fat-shamed. It's like, I am deathly afraid of getting fatter than what I am because I've been told that I look like this person. So if I gain weight in any way, shape, or form, it's going to make me look more like this person. And this person is not a good-looking person. And she is by far not a decent human... Well, she is a decent human being. I can't be, like, a horrible... where that's concerned. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't look like my dad at all, just for a side note.
But where that's concerned, that's where my insecurity comes in. Is like, it starts at home most of the time where, you know, you're being told, like, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're this, you're that. When you're not hearing it, it hurts even more when there are people out there as well saying, like, you're ugly, you're fat, you're this, you're that.
Wow, that's so insightful. It
makes it worse.
Yeah, no, I'm totally glad you say that because that definitely is a perspective where, like, you know, it's like neglect. Like, neglect can be worse and more traumatizing than actual physical abuse, like whether mental, verbal abuse, at least, like, it's actual acknowledgement than just being, like, neglected.
Yeah.
Like, not basically being acknowledged.
And that's half the issue is, like I said, my dad, to this day, my dad will tell me I'm beautiful, but my dad was not there. My mom was going through her own shit. She was depressed. She had her own shit because she had to deal with the same bullshit I did. That unfortunately drove her to the point where she just didn't care about life anymore. But then I was stuck with it.
Yeah.
Chris's mom to me is like a freaking savior, whereas Chris has his own, like, opinion of his mother. Like, I have my opinion.
I thought the same about mom a lot. Like, to said, like, this would be another podcast. Like, you know, mom right now, the way you know her, Salena knows her, Junior knows her.
It's completely different from the mom you grew up with.
Thank you. Exactly. And it's Kai. Kai's 19 years old. So Kai
has a different mom than what you had when you were 19
When I was 19, it's like, so. Yeah.
But like that's the same thing though too. But that's I think any kid because I have memories of mom that are completely and utterly different than what memories Robert has of mom.
I am lucky enough that the fact that me right now, I'm the same immature moron I was at 11. I'll be the same way until the day I die. So like I'm lucky enough where I've never evolved or changed. I'm always gonna be this way. So it's like take me the way I am now. Like I told her, it's like the person I am fucking now. I was this way my entire life. It's like I was in the fucking boy bands as a fucking preteen. I was in the fucking poetry. I was in the fucking writing.
And
I was in poetry slam too.
But like I was the kind of person that bought flowers, opened fucking doors. The person I am now, I'm never gonna fucking change. And Junior knows this, telling her like but because I get this. Some guys do change. I don't.
But here's the thing. There's a way your mom sees you. There's a way Jamie sees you. There's a way Jen sees you. There's a way I see you. There's a way Kaya sees you. Yeah. Because remember, like, Kaya was, like, I think 13, 14 years old. And Chris and I had just seen a movie together. I came home. Kaya's like, oh, I wanted to see that movie. And I'm like, well, you don't say anything. And she's like, because I think Chris hates me. And she's like, can you please let him know that? And I'm like, so I text him, I'm like, Kaya thinks you hate her. And he's like, what?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. And I've never showed any indication of hating Kaya. In fact,
but you weren't spending any time with her. Yeah. Like, from when she was like, from the time you went away to the time you came back.
Well, being part of me going to fucking prison. And when I came home, I had a very long conversation with my sister. I said, Kaya, I'm very fucking sorry that I was gone for a big chunk of your life, and I said, I wish I was a better fucking brother. I wish I was a fucking better person, and I had said there's so much stuff that people don't get going what prison. I've told Salena a lot of stuff, stuff that I haven't told you and Junior, obviously, because like I said, talking to fucking Junior is like talking to a brother, talking to you is like talking to a cousin. Talking to her is differently and shit.
Talking to me is like talking to a cousin. Exactly. Talking to me is talking to a cousin.
Well, you talk to me like I'm a fucking therapist. Like you talk to me like I'm fucking.
Dr. Will.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna need you to relax with that because.
Dr. Phil Will.
All right. Okay, we're gonna need to relax with this whole thing because you guys know
he's got the body and the hair. So if you go some mustache, it's over.
I have a question for Susan. So, like, are you not used to taking compliments? Do you not like compliments and stuff?
Like, I literally, like, me and two of my friends went out, like, I think it was like the series finale of Supernatural that night.
Yeah.
We went out.
We watched it together.
Yeah, we did. But before I came home, like, I went out with two of my friends, and, like, my one friend, like, she is adorable. Like, to no end. Like, I love this girl to death. Like, since the moment I met her, like, we've just clicked. We probably don't have much in common, but we click.
You guys vibe.
Yeah.
And my other friend, like, well, here's the funny thing. The one, she's in a relationship. She's straight. She's so on. My other friend, she is, like, the butchest lesbian you will probably ever meet in your life.
Nice.
And she is fucking awesome.
My type.
My friend Veronica. So we're at O'Toole's up in the Kohl's Plaza. Because Veronica used to work there. She knows all the girls that work there. She's friends with all of them, so on. Her and Cassie are sitting right next to each other. And I'm sitting across from Veronica. And they had like a bet because Cassie's a freaking Patriots fan and Veronica's a Lions fan. Because Cassie's from Massachusetts, Veronica's from Michigan. So they had some kind of bet, and like if the Lions like won a game, Cassie had to buy Veronica like a drink. If the Patriots had won, Veronica had to buy like Cassie a drink. Like something stupid along those lines. So they're sitting there, the Lions actually won, which is like astounding.
Yeah.
Because they're the Lions.
Anyway.
And so Cassie had to buy for Veronica. So she got her a drink, then the waitress comes back and she's like, hey, do you guys want anything else? Veronica looks at Cassie because Cassie's paying. And she's like, should I get another drink? Can I get another drink? When we left, because she did that, they all were texting her and they're like, was that your girlfriend? About Cassie. And she's like, the next time she saw us, she started dying and she's like, they all thought I was dating you. And I'm like, of course they thought you were dating her. She was the pretty one.
Yeah.
We make the perfect lesbian couple.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, here's Susan, like, depreciating herself, like, trying to get, like, compensation and all this other crap. And I'm like, no, Cassie really is the prettier one.
Like to what Junior said earlier, this is the difference between me and Junior, which is not a bad thing. Like Junior said, like, you know, if I'm number 71, I don't give a fuck I'm 71. I'm the one currently, you know, fucking that. My problem is, like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm number 71, then, like, how, this is my insecurities, how fast until number 72 pops up? Because I feel like, for me, it's like, you know, if I'm number 71, that means you're just fucking banging dudes left and fucking right. And this is my issue where it's like, I feel like, you know, if I met a girl like Chris, I only had sex with 2 guys. I'm like, if I'm number 3, that must mean I must be pretty fucking important if I'm number fucking 3. If I'm number fucking 690, I don't feel that special if I'm fucking 690. Like, you know, that's what
I want a girl to be honest with me about her sexual past.
Yeah, I would want a guy
I want her to be 100%
be honest, or a girl. Like, I feel like I wouldn't, like, completely dismiss the fact of dating them without getting to know them more, but that definitely isn't a good look. I don't think it's wrong, you know, to, like, sleep around, but it definitely is just like a bad look when it comes to a relationship and wanting to be in a serious relationship. How can I, like, take someone seriously to be in a serious relationship if, you know, you had sex with so many people? I'm not slut shaming you, but it definitely doesn't look good.
It's different from Junior. Obviously, but I was the 2 fucking girls in the room. So it's like, you know, if you get a guy and you want to make a boyfriend of him and you find out, like, you know, he had sex with 2 girls, okay, how would you feel versus, like, you know, hey, like, he had sex with 1,000 women?
I would think he's a womanizer. Like a player, like maybe he might be a hard worker and good in other, like, aspects that make me attracted to him. When it comes to being in a serious relationship, it's just a bummer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, at some point though, so and guys from the opposite aspect, but still, guys and fucking girls, the number at some point does factor into you being with somebody. It's like, you know, it's like you said, if you find out, if you know, your current boyfriend, people try to say in your fucking past and this and that too, but if you found out your boyfriend the past, like, 5 years fucked 1,200 women, it's gonna make you feel like you fucked 1,200 women in the past fucking 2 years. Whoa, hold up a second.
I mean, that's definitely an exaggerative term.
Obviously, yes. I'm just saying, but, like, you know, I'm just using arbitrary.
If you're not
disgusting.
Honestly, I feel like 10 women in a year for a guy is disgusting.
Well, here's my thing.
I'm just using numbers, but, you know.
Yeah, here's my thing. I'm not me. It's just like, as long as you're honest, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I just don't care because
if you're honest, like, I'm not looking for anything serious. I like, you know, having platonic relationships or friends with benefits, and as long as it's consensual and mature. But for the most part, a lot of, like, stuff like that is just manipulative. A lot of guys are just womanizers. They want to gaslight you, and I'm gonna treat you so good and make you feel like you're the only girl, and I get into your pants and I'm not, and then the romance is gone.
Yeah. Which is a lot of things that happen.
I do think overall, though, it's like, you know, numbers. No matter what the number is, when you look into it, at some point, everybody fucking does it, and people can allow themselves to listen to this podcast or anybody here. People can say, "Oh, like, at some point, I don't care about my." If you're into a serious relationship that may turn long term and even to a fucking marriage, at some point, you're gonna look at your fucking partner's past. That's how it is. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, that's fucking human nature. I'm just saying, like, you know, no matter what numbers they had or who they fucking dated, at some point, you need to make this current person you're with, make them feel special. Like, you know, you may be girl number fucking 300 I'm having sex with, but, like, there's something about you that makes you different than the other 299 fucking women. So I'm just trying to fucking say that, like, you know, at some point, I do feel like, yes, all of us do compare ourselves to a person's exes, but, like, as long as she can make me fucking feel like I'm unique, I'm special from the other fucking guys, that does fucking matter, though. You know, it's like, you know, because maybe she or he went through a fucking phase where they just wanted to, like, you know, have one night stands for a fucking year. But you know what? Maybe she's been fucking single for 4 or 5 years with nothing but one night stands. Maybe you're the one guy that actually made her sit down. Like, you know what? Then I'm done with one night stands for you. I'm gonna get fucking serious. Like, I'd say, well, fucking Mary. Mary had a fuck buddy. You know, she's like, you know what? Even with her husband, she had a fuck buddy. She's like, you know what? My husband was a fucking scumbag. I cheated on him. I had a fuck buddy. She was, Chris, you really mean a lot to me. Now that we're being fucking serious, my fuck buddy, he's no longer fuck buddy. We're just, he's not a factor. That made me fucking feel important. Like, you know, this is a fuck buddy she had on and off for a good 10 fucking years. Now that we're together, this fuck buddy, we're just fucking friends. I'm never fucking anybody but you. So it's like, that does make you feel fucking important, in fact, you know, because she had opportunities to, like, bang plenty of fucking dudes. You know, she was a fucking good looking stripper and shit. So it's like, if you date a stripper or date whatever, a male stripper, they say, listen, I have opportunities, but now I'm being exclusive to only you. It's like, if you take a person who's had nothing but flings and now they're going to settle down for you, that would make you feel special. You know what I mean?
But if that's the lifestyle that they had before, the number still doesn't matter, because you can be into a bunch of flings with just a couple of people. Yeah. So the number in that sense doesn't matter, because if you're in flings, because now we're talking, this is semantics at this point, and it's it's very specific. But when you start getting into like a couple, like you say, you have flings with like a couple of women at a time, and now I want to date this girl. And you're going to be like, yeah, well, I had an on and off thing with these two women for a while. I was going back and forth being fuck buddies with these two women for a while. It's going to have the same effect on any woman than if you were to say that you fucked 100. It's not going to matter, because it's just the number. That's why I say the number doesn't matter, because it's all about the personality leading to it.
Or is it number or the quality of person that they were dating.
Exactly.
But it does make me feel like my current situation, when you say to me like, hey, listen, I've seen who the guys she's had in the fucking past, you're way fucking better looking. Thanks, it means a lot to me. It really does. You know?
I mean, shit, I can say that, and no homo, but it's just like, in terms of what you got going on right now, I can definitely.
But even
say
her,
that.
but even if she tells me like, hey, listen, you're better looking than like guys have been in the fucking past, that does make me feel somewhat fucking special and shit. But I also return the favor, say, listen, like, you comparison to like, my fucking exes and stuff too. Your wave, you said you're a 10 and they're all fucking.
Oh my goodness.
So,
but I mean, it's true.
Thanks, I guess.
It's
I mean, it is sweet to hear.
It's true.
Like, but also not just based on fucking looks though, but also based on personality.
Yeah.
It's like, like
looks and personality go hand in hand, because if you're a dime and you have a great personality, you're a fucking 20. And I want to marry the fuck out of you.
We had fucking Molly here. Besides Molly being an attractive woman, stuff Molly would say like, hey, listen, if my man was working all day, I cooked dinner for him.
Rub his feet.
She's like, if my man was working a 16-hour day, I'll do the fucking laundry. I'll rub his fucking feet. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, hold up a second. Like, what's going on? She's like, I would. The things she would say she would do, and I'm like, where the fuck have you been all my life? Like, holy shit, it's like, so it's like people like that and shit. So.
Yeah. No, it's not. I understand what you're saying 100%.
Yeah. I just feel like my son's mother was a prime example where it's just like, I look at your fucking past and like, you've just dated nothing but scumbags, but you proved that like all you were fucking were about, as long as you got a fucking big enough bank account, you would date fucking anybody.
Yeah, she was a scumbag herself.
Exactly, and so it's like I do feel like it's like at some aspect like I do feel like sometimes you do judge your current relationship based on your partner's exes, and which is why I've tried telling different partners I've been with, hey, listen, I'm really into you because you're not just like a desperation thing, or I'm not just dating you for fucking TNA. I'm dating you because you actually are important to me and shit.
Because you're not the same as my other exes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's I'm saying, like, it'd be like, well, you're not showing the same signs and patterns of being my other exes. Like, when you're dating, like, what you got going on right now, you don't have to worry about her trying to take money from you. You ain't got to worry about her stealing from you. You ain't got to worry about her not doing anything for herself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, at one point, like I was, and you knew this and Susan knew this, I was with a person for the sole sake of like, we had a baby together. And it's like, I don't want to be with you, but I feel like I have to be with you to see my fucking kid.
Right.
And that's 100% what it was, sometimes. And it sucks when that does happen, but it's just like, so you can look at my exes and I've tried proving like, hey, listen, these girls, these previous people before you, I was with them for the most arbitrary fucking reasons,
But when it comes to you, though, specifically, it's not about your exes. It's about the person that you are, because you presented something different. And you've been the same person through everything, but you also presented something different than any other guy would ever present. And that's... So at that point, your past doesn't matter. I mean, you can mention your past because it explains what's going on with your personality and why you're so down on yourself. But when it comes to the actual relationship in itself, it doesn't matter, because you already determined through your actions the type of person that you are. And to this date, you haven't changed. And that's what it comes down to. Before I take off, because I'm about to take off in a minute, but
it's getting late.
I'm going to say that, like I said before, like I always say, I always am a supporter. I'm a very strong opinionated person. I am very blunt, and I will tell you, like, if I do support any and all local businesses and local artists who have talent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Art, where you have art, whether you have, you make things, doesn't matter. I support it. I'm also very blunt, so I'm gonna tell you if it's ugly or not, or and
tell if it's ugly or you're ugly or not.
That's me, 100%. So if you don't like honesty, don't come in my direction. So that's, what I'm saying, send me those links because I am a definite.
No, it felt really good to talk about a lot of things like dating and genders.
Yeah. I busted her fucking balls, obviously, by her first episode, but this is definitely Selena's third time on here. And you can tell by her mannerisms, her fucking voice, that being her third time, it's getting easier and easier for her and more natural.
So well, definitely not blacked out drunk like I was.
She didn't get a hold of that squid ink.
Never again, dude.
I call it squid ink.
She just had plenty of weed.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Yeah,
you too.
So, Susan, are you done, Sue?
I think Susan dipped.
Yeah. So we always say our goodbyes at the end of this podcast.
Sue says bye.
I've always said before, hey, guys, this shit is free. I like the fact that it's free, and unlike Twitch streamers and stuff, and streamers in general, nobody here is fucking begging for your money or need your money because you, me, Junior, and Sue, we got our fucking own cash, we got our own bills and stuff, and I support hard work and dedication and work ethic, not begging people to fucking pay your bills. Like I said, all my fucking bills, everything I have down here, from my car to my washer. Hey, it's not the best stuff in the world, but I went out and I earned it. And I can't stand people who live off the charity and the beggingness of other fucking people. Mm-hmm. Fuck that. Even you, Salena, everything you have, you paid your way, you earned it.
Oh, no, I feel really good, especially being in a relationship for a while and finally having my own thing. It's great.
Yeah. And so it's but that's my goodbyes. Any kind of goodbyes you want to say?
Oh no, and just goodbye. Sleep tight. Yeah. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
And it was just like I said, the more you're here, the more you see, you hear, it's getting easier and easier. And the freestyle stuff was fun. Just four of us down here, just bullshit and having some drinks, and wasn't too deep, no much news articles, wasn't political, and we all just had general fun discussions and shit. We just had a good time. So we killed 3.5 hours.
Nice talk. All
right, so we are out, man.